And welcome back, everybody. Duane Walker along with Jamie Walker here at Panther Stadium, just moments away from kickoff. Morehouse College will receive the football. Frank Bailey Jr. is back deep.
Bailey has just done it all for them all year. When you're talking about his running back ability along with his return ability, you have a complete player.
All right. Number 49, Carlos Saldana, has teed it up, and we are underway from Panther Stadium. It's going to be taken by Frank Bailey on the hop of the 18, up to the 25, 30, 35, 40, up the middle, and finally brought down at the 48-yard line. 30-yard return for Frank Bailey Jr., and that's where this Morehouse College offense will set up. For Morehouse, the starters, they're led by senior quarterback number 17, Michael Sims, the running back Frank Bailey Jr., he's the starter. The wide receiver group, number 4, Mahari Stribling, Marquise Pride, number 5, and Delante Tolliver. The tight end is Corey Fleming. Up front, Antonio Smith anchors the line. The guards are Kyle Warmack and Camden Dobbs, and the tackles, Savan Baker and Kelvin Dennis. First down and 10 from the 45-yard line. Sims will roll to the near side of the football field, looking long. Now he'll decide to keep the football and get back to the original line of scrimmage.
And I think this is what he's improved upon his last 4 or 5 weeks. He would have thrown the ball up in coverage, but he's really just taking what the defense is giving him. Got back to the line of scrimmage and lived for another day. Looks like he may have even lost a yard.
In fact, he did, and on that return, give Frank Bailey Jr. a 27-yard return because they put the football back at the 45-yard line. Now it's on the 44, and it brings up second down and 11. Twin wide receivers to the top of the formation. In motion comes Pride, they'll option off to the right. Sims throws back across his body, incomplete pass.
Definitely, when you're looking at Sims rolling to his right as a left-handed quarterback, you can definitely see the way that, he's able to command this offense, but that's kind of a hard throw when you're going in one direction, your left-handed quarterback having to turn around and throw the other way.
Starters for the defense for the Panthers, Darius Barron, Andre Felder, and Craig Johnson up front, Rodney Lewis and Travis Taylor. They're the spur and the band. The linebackers getting their first starts this season, Xavier Hopkins and Cardarius Green. In the secondary, Zion Poole, Frankie Cullen, number 31. Tequez Williams replaces Charles Crawford, and Timothy Jones is the strong safety. Third down and 11. Sims in the pocket, and he throws, and it's going to be complete. What a fantastic grab by number 7. That's Tolliver on the reception.
Delance Tolliver has been doing it for Morehouse really these last 4 or 5 weeks, really excelling, especially in crossing patterns, finding himself open, and he wants the ball. You can see he commands the ball. He loves catching the football.
15-yard pass play, and that's his 21st reception of the season. First down now for Morehouse College, moving right to left. They're dressed in their white jerseys, white helmets, maroon pants. Clark in their home black uniforms, black helmets, black pants. First down, they hand it to Bailey Jr., and he will squirm his way for maybe a couple of yards down to the 39-yard line.
And that might have been the absolute perfect word you use as far as squirm. He's able to just start, stop, get upfield. He wants all the yardage he can, but he does it smoothly. He's one of those running backs that's not necessarily the power back. He's a great combo back. So, again, Bailey being able to just see his way and pick his way through that defensive line of Clark and Lamb.
Call it +2. Second down at 8. Tight formation, twin receivers to the top of the formation. Now, the quarterback, that's going to actually be a direct snap to Frank Bailey Jr., and he'll be driven out of bounds at the 27-yard line.
Again, seeing Frank Bailey's ability to do it all. Got the direct snap that time, faked the Connell going across. And you can see Bailey's ability to just really go around defenders, pointing out the block, setting everything up. Frank Bailey's that complete back, and he's been doing it all year.
12 yards and a first down carry. The Maroon Tigers are threatening. They have it 1st and 10 at the 27 of CAU. It's senior day here at Panther Stadium, and in a moment we'll acknowledge some of the seniors that will be playing in their last collegiate game. Sims will hand to Frank Bailey Jr. He dips by a man, gets down to the 20, and ran out of bounds at about the 18.
You can already see the frustrations of the Clark Atlanta defenders really not being able to get a direct hit on Frank Bailey Jr. He just, shakes, bakes, starts, stops. Again, when you're a defender trying to break down and make that tackle, Bailey's one of those hard targets to actually hit.
He got 9 yards on the carry, 2nd down and 9. 2nd down and 1, pardon me. Sims will wait, now in motion. Comes Ernest Davis, number 20, who just checked in. Fake to Davis, over to Tolliver on the cross, incomplete pass. Tolliver had it in his hands, but could not corral it in.
That's really been one of those key plays for Morehouse as they have had this offensive resurgence. The crossing patterns by both Pride and Tolliver really has opened up everything for this offense.
Xavier Hopkins on the coverage, and it brings up a 3rd down situation for Morehouse. Now we get some substitutions. Morehouse so far this season on 3rd downs, they come in 27 of 118. That's 23% efficiency. 3rd and 1 here. They'll hand it to Frank Bailey Jr. up the middle. Was that Frank Bailey? That was correction. That's number 20 on that carry. That's Ernest Davis.
And really, Ernest Davis has been a splendid surprise for this Morehouse offense. Santo Dunn, that stalwart that's been here all year, has been out since the first game. Ernest Davis has been a great bat that's been able to substitute for Frank Bailey when he's gone out.
Talking to Coach Rich Freeman, he says that he's that everyday type back. 1st down now and 10. Sliding through the hole once again is number 20. That's Peterson. Correction, Davis.
Again, you can see Davis's ability to be able to, be the opposite of Frank Bailey, whereas he, gonna run straight ahead, get all the yards he can, on first contact, whereas Bailey is the starting stopper.
Yes. 3-yard pickup, 2nd down and 7. Football resting at the 9-yard line. Sims gets a snap, throws to the far side of the field, and in and out of the hands of Albert Cano. Albert Cano should have caught that football, correct?
He should have. Albert Cano has been really another pleasant surprise, kind of like Davis. And I talked to them earlier on. They have pride in that wide receiver core. Talked to the wide receivers coach and told them, I'll go on record as saying, hey, they're the best, complimentary receivers in the SIAC. And they agreed with me as well. So, it's tough to see him drop that ball, but I'm sure they'll pick it up later on.
Brings up another 3rd down situation. Morehouse is in the red zone. They're 19 of 28 on the season, good for 68%. Sims bobbles the snaps, now gets it back and finds a man for a touchdown. Touchdown by number 5 on the catch, none other than Marquez Pride.
Again, that's what I was just talking about. Being able to run those crossing routes, especially simplifying the offense, not necessarily having Sims drop back and throw it deep, but they've been using the crossing route to really open up this offense. And you can see what it's doing. It's paying dividends so far with that first touchdown.
Morehouse going for 2. Direct snap to Sims, and he is going to convert the extra point attempt. The extra 2. Number 7, Delante Tolliver taking the direct snap. And with exactly 11 minutes to play in the first quarter, our score, Morehouse 8, CAU no score. Number 36, Fernando S. De La Mora, will do the kicking for Morehouse. Back deep for CAU, Ronnie West. And it's going to be taken at the 9-yard line. Up to the 15 comes Tate, 20. Driven out at the 24-yard line. There you get a look at him. Number 7 on that return, Jermaine Tate, averaging almost 19 yards per return. So you get a look at it.
Yeah, you can see Tate just trying to find a seam, got out of bounds, but didn't have much running room, but got what he could as a return.
Up to the 23-yard line. That makes it a 14-yard return. Now we'll get our look at the CAU offense. And we'll go ahead and set their starters. That spread offense is led today by number 10, quarterback Elijah Odom, who threw for 2 touchdowns and ran for 1 last week in that 3-point loss to Benedict. We'll set the rest of the starters here in just a second. First play, and he is going to be swarmed under. A host of Morehouse Maroon Tigers on the scene. Specifically, number 41, Dalen Land. That's his 3rd sack of the year.
Yeah, Dalen Land and really this entire defense just swarms to the football. You know, they take pride in being able to eat quarterbacks for lunch and, spit them out for dinner. It's just one of those things. But you'll see them be relentless to the football all day.
Jeremiah Gibbs will be the running back. The wide receivers are number 2, Corey King Jr., number 8, Darren Stevens, and co-leading catch getter, number 14, Jakar Jerry. Number 15, Kendall Wimberly is the starting tight end. Will set the offensive line after this play. 2nd down and a bunch, and that pass is complete far side of the football field, complete to Jeremiah Gibbs.
Yeah, Jeremiah Gibbs has been playing steady for this Clark Atlanta offense all season as well. Once they settled on a quarterback, you can see the way this offense kind of flourished.
Let's set the offensive line for you. The center is Kedrick Harvey, and to his left, guards number 70, Kobe McCovery, and left tackle Nicholas Solomon. The right side, Aaron Hawkins is the guard, and the tackle, number 75, Elijah Burks. 3rd down, 14, football complete to the near side of the field, and stumbling and bumbling. That was number 83, Kenyon Webb.
Again, you can see Odom. Again, they won't get the 1st down, but you can see him not panicking, being able to roll out, finding an open receiver. Didn't get what you wanted to as far as the 1st down, but again, you didn't make the big mistake. And you can see this young team, again, showing those bright spots, and you can see what the future will look like for the Clark Atlanta Panthers.
Check that Ronnie West on that last reception. It got up to the original line of scrimmage, and it brings forth a 4th down. Fernando Lobo in to do the punting. And that football is taken by the up man, Pride. And he will run out of bounds at the 35-yard line.
Again, Pride, one of those again. And they never mind playing starters in special teams. So you can see very skilled players being out there catching punts, snapping, those kinds of things, those kind of important nuances that go with a ball game. You want your most important people out there.
30 yards on that punt by Lobo, 12 yards on that return by Pride. Morehouse has it 1st down and 10, moving right to left. They lead it by a score of 8-0 with 8 minutes and 52 seconds to play in the 1st quarter. Duane Walker along with Jamie Walker. Trip wide receiver set to the near side of the field. Sims will patiently wait. Now he'll put his mouthpiece in. There's the snap. Sims back, looking, going for the downs. He has a man.
Oh!
Incomplete pass. Just out of the outstretched arms of number 81, Albert Cannell.
You can see Sims again. Great protection that time. Released the ball as wide as he could. Albert kind of really giving all the effort he could. Dove, but just right out of the outstretched arms.
Z Poole on the coverage for CAU number 20. 2nd and 10 from the 35 of CAU. Now we have Bailey and Davis in the backfield. Sims splitting the both of them. He'll hand off to Frank Bailey Jr. Tries to wiggle past a guy but can't. And the first man to get a hand on him was number 53, Rodney Lewis, the Bandit, who, by the way, leads this team with 3 sacks on the season. Let's take another look.
Yeah, you can see Bailey trying to go front side, ran into a man, stuck his foot in the ground, but didn't cut it all the way back against the grain, so stayed in that front side, got what he could. And, again, as a running back, you just want to fall forward. That's what you're looking for.
Kadarius Green, number 39, made that tackle, getting his first start this afternoon because of injury. Number 41, Zion Wokacho, is out with an injured ankle. 3rd down and 7. Sims crossing past to Pride. Pride down to the 30, 25. 1st down yardage, however, there is a flag down, so let's wait. And the referee will converge. And by the way, fine officiating crew this afternoon, led by referee, the guy in the white hat. His name is Sean Purdy. And in just a second, we will hear from him. Playing a little charades right now. Here he goes.
So it looks like he may have had a legal man downfield. And that may have been based on the actual formation because you had two backs in the backfield. You really didn't have anybody on the opposite side. So one of those players may have actually been covered up.
So scrap that. That's going to bring up a penalty. And Morehouse College, one of the most penalized teams in the league. They average 10-plus penalties per game for 87 yards. So they're moved back, and they'll bring up a 3rd down and 12 situation from the CAU 37. Freeman receives the snap, throws over the middle to Pride. Pride outstretched his arms and really should have caught that football but could not hold on.
I'll tell you what, Sims could not have placed that ball any more perfect. Pride right into coverage, but only where he could catch it. And right now, receiving core has to live up to billing. Look at that ball just placed in between two defenders. So much so that they run into each other. But Pride has to come up with that if he's going to be big time in this league.
Frankie Collum, number 31, on the coverage. It brings up 4th down, and it is a punting situation. And handling the duties for Morehouse, number 36, Fernando S. De La Mora. Jakar Jerry back deep, waiting for the punt. And it's going to be fair caught at the 9-yard line.
Jerry with the fair catch at the 13-yard line.
With 7 minutes and 22 seconds remaining in the first quarter, Morehouse leads it by a score of 8-0. Let's take this time out.
Kick off your career with UBS.
While we were away, Elijah Odom fired a completed pass to Joseph Little, number 35, and that's an 11-yard pass play. And for Little, has not been used a lot, just his 2nd reception of the campaign. 1st down and 10 for CAU, now moving left to right. They get their 2nd opportunity at it. Odom will keep the football, and he's going to be swarmed under by a host of Morehouse College Maroon Tigers, led by number 15, Daniel Norman. And Norman has had an incredible season.
He has. You can see him both, from his end position, linebacker position. You can even see him dropping to the secondary, making interceptions. But wherever the football is, you can guarantee that Daniel Norman's going to be there.
We'll call it a loss of 1, 2nd and 11. 19-yard line, Odom waiting. Twin receivers to the top and the bottom of the formation. Odom waiting. And now Joseph Douglas, number 34, switches sides, now switch back. Waiting for the snap. There it is. Odom in the pocket, under duress, and he's going to wisely toss that football away.
Sometimes the no play is the best play in this situation. What you don't want to do is throw it into coverage and have it intercepted. But, again, you can see Odom's pocket presence. He's flushed out the pocket, throws it up. You can see two defenders right in front of him and just simply gets the ball out of bounds and lives another day.
Brings up another 3rd down situation for CAU. So far this season, they're batting 24%, 29 of 119. I'm in baseball mode since our Atlanta Braves won the World Series.
Hey, how about
so don't
that?
mind me if I use some baseball algorithm here.
There's nothing wrong with that, sir.
3rd down and 11. Pressure. And the football is, they rule that a completion. If so, it's Joseph Douglas, number 24. And as we get a look at the replay, you mentioned Odom's presence, and he got that football off just in time. A nice grab there by Douglas.
That was actually really a great series of plays by both teams. You can see Tyler Hunter actually going after Odom. Odom really with the awareness to see a receiver open and get it out to him. Wasn't able to pick up the 1st down, but, hey, again, you didn't make the big mistake.
Lobo into punt for CAU. Pride back deep, number 5. He's standing at his own 45-yard line. There's a snap, the boot. It's on the way. It's going to take a CAU roll. and it's going to be touchdown at the 42-yard line. Net result is a 37-yard punt by Lobo, and Morehouse College will take over the football from there.
Again, looking at both of these teams, again, filling each other out. Morehouse get with the early score. Clark Atlanta, just kind of treading water right now with the fury of offense that, Morehouse is able to provide, but has to get some offensive continuity on their own. They're completing some plays, running the football a little bit, but now it's time to really put it all together and get some points on the board.
All eyes are on the West Division as the champion will earn the chance to host the annual SIAC Football Championship next weekend. Fans visit www.thesiac.com for official conference and championship gear. And, Jamie, the West is TBA.
Yes, it is. We'll see what happens with the West.
Passes, incomplete. Pride, his second drop of the ball game. Should have come up with that football.
And again, you can see, we talked about it earlier, the crossing route really being that staple that has opened up the passing game for Morehouse. Wide open on that route, just simply dropped it. And again, you can't have that if you're trying to put points on the board.
Second down and 10 from the 42. 5 minutes and 10 seconds to play. First quarter, Duane Walker along with Jamie Walker. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast. Tolliver comes now in, and he pinches in. And there's the snap. There's that scat back. He is so elusive. Frank Bailey Jr. He will push the pocket, push the football up to the 47. 5 yards on the play.
Yeah, you can see again Frank Bailey running with balance. You see him stumble one way, be able to get his feet under him, go a different direction, get those positive yards that he continues to be able to have for this Morehouse offense.
Number 52, 53, Rodney Lewis on that last stop for CAU. Third down, Morehouse needs to get to the CAU 48-yard line for a first down. Twin receivers to the top. Sims waiting for the snap. There it is. He looks left, now looks right. Now he'll throw down the field, and it's going to be incomplete, looking for Connell.
I tell you what, may have been just a victim of processing too much. Had some room, had green grass in front of him, may have been able to take off, as you see on the replay. Just him scanning the field. Again, that senior that's able to do that within this offense. But trying to complete the pass, but as you can see, a lot of grass in front of him. Could have gotten that first down, but chose to throw it to Connell and just didn't get that completed pass.
S. De La Mora in to do the punting for Morehouse. S. De La Mora is averaging 47.8 yards per punt. That one sails over his head. And what will S. De La Mora do? He will punt it soccer style, and it's actually going to get a Morehouse College roll.
Wow.
And that football is going to be touchdown at the 29-yard line.
Yeah, Morehouse is so fortunate to be able to get that ball off. If the rush would have been any closer, they could have gotten that football from S. De La Mora, but give him credit. He changed it to a soccer-style area, soccer-style kick, and was able to get as many yards as possible in their direction.
23 yards on that punt.
So that's telling.
We had an opportunity to speak with the long snapper for CAU, who told us that he's been perfect so far this season, Jeffrey April. First down for CAU at the 29-yard line. Very little, if any, gain. Number 6 on the carry, Casey. Tyler Hunter on that tackle.
Tyler Hunter again from that DN position. This front four, Campbell, DeWert, and others are relentless to the football. Again, you can see Tyler Hunter, from the backside position, going opposite side and being able to make that tackle.
1 yard pickup, 2nd and 9. Twin receivers to the far side of the field. Now he'll wave in motion, number 83 West. And let's see if the timeout came before the defensive encroachment. Here's Steve Purdy. Timeout, CAU. The SIAC is excited to let everyone know about the new brand logo rollout. The league has announced a rebrand in coordination with strategic branding agency SME that will include a new logo, pillars, positioning, and tagline for the league. And the new tagline is Leaders Rise Here. Speaking of leaders, Morehouse College leads it by a score of 8-0 with 3:18 to play. We'll be right back.
Since 1837, historically black colleges and universities have been fulfilling their purpose to educate and empower. Since 2009, the Home Depot's Retool Your School Campus Improvement Grant Program has also been powered by a purpose to update, upgrade, and uplift HBCU campuses. Today, 44 million votes, $4.1 million, and 147 grants later, we remain inspired by the people, the passion, and the power of HBCUs to continue our purpose. Learn more at retoolyourschools.com.
For all the ways you love to play, Academy Sports and Outdoors makes it easier than ever to get what you need and have fun out there. Get free shipping on your favorite brands at academy.com or get free curbside or in-store pickup at your Academy store.
As a global bank, our game plan is to help clients manage their money. We're a team of challengers, thinkers, and go-getters. Together, we bring out the best in each other. With our partner SIAC, we're creating pathways for the next generation of talent. We're scouting bankers, advisors, techies, and yes, athletes. Kick off your career with UBS.
Elijah Odom, number 10, will wait for the snap, quarterback for CAU. With 3 minutes and 17 seconds to play, his team trailing 8-0. It's second down and 9 from the 30-yard line. Panthers moving left to right. Shotgun formation. Odom will deliver the ball. Wow. And that football is dropped by Daquan Kinsey, the running back coming out of the backfield.
Yeah, you can see that easy throw. Odom again recognizing that Morehouse showing blitz, wanted to get the ball out quickly, but just simply dropped by the running back.
And these are the little things that really make a difference. You just simply have to make that catch.
Absolutely, especially when your team's down. Really hadn't done much on offense at all. You have to come up with the play.
Third down and 9. Kinsey, number 6, just to the right of Odom. And Odom saying, come on, let's go. Bring the play in, let's go. Play clock down to 1, and they just barely get it off. Odom under attack, and he's going to be tackled. In a celebratory mood is number 11, Tyler Hunter, his 5th sack of the season.
There goes that man again. Tyler Hunter wants to tackle quarterbacks at will. You know, he doesn't mind repeating that move over and over again. So you can see Odom under duress. Tyler Hunter absolutely got into his end. Odom could not do anything. And what can you do as a quarterback when you don't have protection? Clark Atlanta has to shore that up.
Zachary Becton also in on that quarterback sack, maybe a half a sack apiece. We'll see how they rule it. Nonetheless, Francisco Lobo in to do the punting. He'll get that boot away, and they're trying to get out of the way, and it's going to take a roll, CAU roll, and it's going to be down at the 45-yard line. That is a 31-yard effort on that punt. That's where Morehouse College will take over the football. Morehouse College so far this season, in case you are wondering, they are averaging just 17.3 points per game, and they allowed 26.1. However, over the course of the last 4 weeks, they've played some outstanding football, Jamie.
Yes, they have. It speaks to what, Coach Freeman is able to do along with this offense and showing improvement and really been playing teams tough.
1st and 10 from the 45. They'll hand the football up the middle, and getting his first carry of the game. Did you get a number? It looked like number 44 on that carry. Was it 44? Correction, Frank Bailey Jr., thanks a lot. Minimal gain, maybe 3 yards. Rodney Lewis, number 53, making that tackle.
Rodney Lewis really with a clean hit on Bailey, the first clean hit you've seen. Again, Bailey is hard to actually break down the tackle.
2nd and 7. They'll option off to the right. Ooh, a football pass or a basketball pass to Bailey Jr. That was a two-handed chest pass.
It was a two-handed chest pass.
I was trying to figure it out in my mind. Wait a minute, that was a basketball move.
Yeah, they were simply just trying to run the option to the right, but you can see the lineman got stuck. So it was one of those things where Sims had to just push it along as best he could to Bailey, and Bailey got what he could, which was, hey, positive yardage.
A positive 3. That's into CAU territory. 3rd, and we'll call it 4 yards from the 49-yard line of CAU. This Morehouse College offense has been very deliberate here in the first quarter with just 54 seconds to play. And now we have a stoppage in play. Let's find out from Steve Purdy, the Whitecap.
Morehouse. First charge come out of the half.
Officials timeout. There's a timeout on the field with under a minute to play. With our score, Morehouse 8, CAU no score.
Being a champion.
Welcome back, everybody. Duane Walker along with Jamie Walker. 50 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Morehouse College has the lead and the football, moving right to left. 3rd down and 4 from the CAU 49-yard line. Sims patiently waiting. Low snap, near side, and he throws it incomplete. And he was under some serious pressure by Rodney Lewis, number 53, coming in from his banded position.
Yeah, you can see Sims, whenever a quarterback is under any duress or any kind of pressure at all, it throws off everything they're trying to do. It almost looked like they were trying to go a draw play, but again, when you saw the actual pressure, Sims, not sure if he had a grip on the football or not, but got out of his hands enough to get the incomplete pass.
S. De La Mora back to do the punting for Morehouse. Dre Cargieri, number 14, standing at the 15-yard line waiting for that punt. Little coffin corner action. Looks like it's inside the 20-yard line. It'll just depend on the mark. And it's going to be marked at the 17-yard line. 32-yard effort by S. De La Mora. And the CAU Panthers on senior day, they'll try it once again. And I know, Jamie, you and I had a chance to go on the field and talk to some of these seniors playing in their last game. Not so much for CAU. They have a very young group. They've got 55 underclassmen.
Wow.
55.
And that just tells you what the future looks like for the Panthers. If they can, keep the core intact, they'll be just fine.
1st down and 10 from their own 17-yard line with 39 ticks to go in the first quarter. Pass is batted down. No go. Defensive effort by number 55, Marquise DeWert. Do you pronounce it DeWert?
Yeah, DeWert.
DeWert putting in work.
Yes, he is putting in work. And that's another one of those linemen or those defensive linemen for Morehouse that is relentless to the football. But if they can't see the football, they'll get their hands up and bat everything down.
2nd down situation. They'll option to the left. Odom will keep. And Odom will be wrestled down rugby style at the 23-yard line. And up goes a flag. And let's see what comes of it. Did you see anything, Jamie?
May have been a late hit, maybe some talking, but it did look rugby scrummish, for lack of a better term. The word may even look like he was going for the slam.
The 2-point takedown.
Yes, but couldn't quite get him, up to snuff. And maybe it maybe have been a blessing in disguise that he didn't, or it may have been, one of those things where he got kicked out the game.
Yes, that penalty, in fact, did go against Morehouse College. And as we mentioned a few moments ago, Jamie, Morehouse is penalized over 10 times a game. And I know that's something Coach Freeman wants to work on. First down and 10 for CAU at their own 38-yard line. Nice one-handed catch. And the football is bobbled by Tate on the near side of the field. Correction, that was actually number 2, Corey King Jr., who couldn't come up with that football.
Yeah, again, Odom under much duress. You can see him rolling out to his right, gets rid of the football, but receiver could not quite bring it in, and they'll go to a second down.
They look to the bench to get the play from offensive coordinator Richard Moncrief. And again, we can't stress enough just the youth of this CAU team. There's a pass that's misfired out of bounds. And it'll be another one of those situations, Jamie, where CAU, they just took advantage of that penalty. But when we come back from the break to begin another quarter of play, we'll see if they can generate some offense, because as of now they trail it by a score of 8-0 with 1 quarter in the books. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Third down and 10 for CAU at their own 38-yard line. Twin receivers to the top. Low snap. Odom comes up with it. He double clutches, looking for Stevens, streaking down the near side of the football field. Incomplete pass.
Yeah, you see Stevens being open. Odom couldn't set his feet to get it upfield. Got the ball up the left side, but just could not complete that pass. And again, if you see CAU, you want to get some kind of offensive continuity in this second quarter. Morehouse has made some moves offensively. They haven't looked sharp themselves, but Clark Atlanta has to get some points on the board to put some pressure on the Maroon Tigers.
Francisco Lobo in to do the punting for CAU. He's standing at the 22-yard line, waiting for the snap from Jeffrey Abram. There's the snap. It's going to be blocked. The punt is blocked. And just like that, the Maroon Tigers have the football. Guess who? None other than Daniel Norman.
Again, those players on special teams, those starters on special teams have really been key to making sure that you have really quality players on all phases or within all phases of the football team. And you can kind of question, sometimes whether the skill position players should be out there, receiving punts and whatnot. But it has paid dividends for Morehouse.
I like it because they're your best athletes, and hopefully we can get another look at that block punt as Daniel Norman got a piece of it. All right, so Morehouse has the football. They are threatening first and goal from the 10-yard line. Bailey Jr. He will creep down to about the 6.
Frank Bailey Jr. with the carry.
Call it a gain of 4.
Number 27.
Again, see Bailey going off that right side. May have gotten away with a hold there by the fullback, but Bailey continuing to get upfield and again just slivers his way. I guess that's the best way to describe it, upfield for positive yards.
I thought you said squirm was the best.
What squirm might have been,
You just changed it to your word, said that your word was the best.
My bad, sir.
Second down and 6. Second down and 6. Frank Bailey Jr. again on the carry. minimal gain. And now we have a CAU Panther that is writhing in pain on the ground. And let me see if we can get a number. It looks like it's number 90, number 93, Andre Felder. And I know that I mentioned coming into this game, Jamie, that the CAU Panthers, they have suffered a rash of injuries both on the offensive, defensive side. And while they tend to Felder, we're going to take this quick timeout with our score. Morehouse 8, CAU nothing, and Morehouse is threatening. Third down and goal for Morehouse at the 5-yard line. Twin receivers to the near side of the field. Sims has it, might call his own number, waiting, throwing, and completing. It's a Morehouse College touchdown. That's your guy, Jamie. Alcanel.
Hey, listen, doing the Texas two-step. You can see, again, Sims concentrating, wanting to stay in the pocket, so he backs up off the line. Had green grass in front of him, thought he would run, but just threads the needle to Albacano. Again, touchdown, Morehouse.
How about it for Connell? Coming into the game, he only had 5 receptions, but that touchdown catch was his second of the season. Estelamora in for the extra point attempt. It is up, and it is through the uprights. And with 13 minutes and 41 seconds to play in the second quarter. Our score, Morehouse 15, Clark Atlanta no score. And I know, Jamie, just before that last play, we saw number 93, Andre Felder, going down. This CAU team, they've been, as you see the red tent there, ironically, they've been hampered by a number of injuries. Just this past game, they lost Charles Crawford, their defensive back, to a knee injury. They've lost Julian Little to an elbow injury, Cameron Ivey, Tyrone Mitchell, Donald Henry Jr. with a broken leg, Zion Wokacha, and Tyrese Ross. These are starters on the defensive side of the football. Then on offense, they've lost Keon Shell to shoulder surgery, Taji Hudson to shoulder surgery, the running back, Kedrick Harvey, who we talked to at the beginning of the game. He missed some time with a foot injury. He was in a boot. Number 66, Austin Euler, he broke his leg. And wide receiver Anthony Brown out of Denver, Colorado, he had a season-ending knee injury.
As you can see, they're essentially a walking mash unit. When you don't have a lot of depth in your young team, that's going to affect your squad when you have those starters or that many starters out.
No question about it. And through it all, however, Coach Bowens and the program, they remain positive. And the coach actually shared the story. I asked him how he was doing mentally despite some of the losses here. And he says actually being a home guy and a family guy keeps him stable. He says his son Tanner's football team, they were 8-0 but lost in the championship game. And he said the young man was devastated, went home and shut his door. And get this, he didn't even play a snap because he's a 6th grader playing on an 8th grade team.
Oh, wow.
But just tell you, when he buys in, just like these players have bought into what Coach Tim Bowens is trying to accomplish here at CAU.
Most definitely. They have an opportunity to play. With being a young squad, they're still trying to show Coach what they can do.
All right, it's going to be taken by West at the 3-yard line, up to the 20, across the 25-yard line, and up to the 27. There is, however, a flag down. So we'll wait and find out what the call is. 24 yards on that return by Mr. West. Steve Purdy will come with the call.
During the return, illegal blocking the back. Return team, number 33. Continue on penalty. First down.
Illegal block in the back, and so it will move the CAU Panthers back to the 15-yard line where they will start their drive.
Yeah, you hate to see that again for CAU because offensively they really have been inept. Although they've completed some passes, you really hadn't seen them, put together a drive to be able to get back into this ball game. And now, with the penalty, they're back into their own territory.
Odom was 4 of 9 in that first quarter. First down play. He'll throw to the far side of the football field to Douglas, and Douglas is going to be spun around and dropped. There's that guy again, number 55. We just keep calling out DeWert's number almost every play on the defensive side.
Absolutely. Looks like, again, Clark Atlanta keeping everything short, so it allows the defensive lineman to be able to track the football and keep everything in front of them. So Clark Atlanta has to open up the offense some to get those defenders to slow down.
Trip wide receivers to the left side. Let's see if they take a shot deep. They've got man-to-man coverage on the outside. On this second down and 13. Free play, and they're going to whistle the play down. May have been encroachment against the defense. Let's see how they rule it. DeWert is saying against the offense.
We'll see.
Offside. Defense. On the base for the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Did you see the preliminary indication, Jamie?
The indication was...
Well, they moved the ball forward, so I'm assuming against the defense. Either way, it's second down and 9. Trip wide receivers again to the near side of the football field. I want to see Odom take a shot, but will he get the time to do so? Odom back to pass, looking, and DeWert's going to deflect that football, and it's going to be picked off. Picked off and coming back the other way and scoring a touchdown for Morehouse College. Number 41, that's Dalen Land, coming up with his second interception of the year and first touchdown to match. But let's hold the phones. There is a flag down at the 17-yard line. See DeWert getting a piece of that football and land in the perfect position. It lands right in his hands.
Yes, it does land right in his hands. But, you can see what pressure does to a quarterback in general. And Morehouse has been able to be opportunistic, not just this game, but all year as far as getting those interceptions. And really being able to return them to the house as well. Being able to be an opportunistic scoring defense helps your offense tremendously.
The preliminary call by Steve Purdy, I believe, is a hold against the offense, which will be declined, and net result is a 25-yard touchdown by Land.
Personal foul. Shot clock. Clark Atlanta. 15-yard penalty. Forced on the kickoff. Will proceed to the drive.
So after that penalty, it will be imposed on the kickoff. In the meantime and in between time, it will be a 2-point conversion attempt. And is that Tolliver, your guy, number 7?
Most definitely.
In the direct snap position. They'll snap it to him. He'll pick and choose his lane. He loses the football. CAU, no. Do they come up with it? And they can score a point off this if they pick it up and run it back. And at this point, after the scrum, it's going to be recovered by CAU, but all is for naught. The 2-point conversion is denied. Number 37 pouncing on that football was Zyke Pruitt. 12 minutes and 38 seconds to play. And after that 25-yard touchdown return by Land, his first touchdown of the year, his second interception on the season, which makes the score Morehouse College 21, CAU no score.
Again, you can see those opportunities to score. The defense loves to happen. They cherish those moments where they can get an interception or a fumble return and be able to score themselves. Again, that front 4 is relentless to the football, and those back 7 have the opportunity to get their hands on the football because of that front 4 being able to rush the passer at will.
And Marquise Dewart, number 55, he's just been all over the football field. And dare I say, he's an early candidate for SIAC Defensive Player of the Week. He's made a sack. He's blocked a punt. He's knocking balls down at the line of scrimmage. He's making tackles all over the football field. He's looking dynamic this afternoon.
And serves as the long snapper as well. So, again.
He was a little off on one of these.
He was just a little. I might have hurt his chances as being player of the week at this point.
At least on the special team. All right, there's a pooch kick by S. Delamora, and it's going to take it by Little, who wisely downs the football at the 12-yard line, but because he smartly downed it, the football will be brought forth to the 25-yard line, where CAU should have it first down to 10.
And if you're offensive coordinator Richard Moncrief for Clark Atlanta, you have to mix up your play calling. I know that you're young and that you have, a certain set of plays and a certain philosophy that goes along with these young players, but at the same time, you have to throw them off balance. They're rushing for and being able to get to your quarterback really with not a lot of blitzing, although they've shown blitz. What you have to do at this point is mix in some screens, some draws, something to get that defensive line off.
Now, Jamie, I may have been a little bit preemptive on that because they're actually marking the ball at the 14-yard line. Could it be because Joseph Little didn't raise his hand to indicate fair catch?
Could have been.
Instead of just catching the ball and going down, which I guess you couldn't do unless you were in the end zone?
Right.
All right, first down and 10 for CAU. Near side of the football field is a triple set, 3-wide receiver set. There's a snap. We've got a new quarterback in the game, and that one was almost picked off and returned back to the house. So number 22, Cameron Selders, almost was able to pick off the football for his first INT of the season.
Yeah, Sharif Brown entering the ball game cold, and that's not what you want to see once you come into the ball game, nearly throwing an interception. So he has to get, his sea legs under him and lead his offense. But again, this is what Coach Bowen said. He'll ride the hot hand. And right now, Elijah Odom wasn't effective per se. We'll see if Sharif Brown can give a spark to this offense.
Brown coming in, completing 49% of his passes, 45 of 92 for 472 yards. Here's Kinsey on the run on second down, and he has first down yardage. So nice positive carry for Kinsey.
Again, having to mix up the play calling, really that front four going to the quarterback, not really accounting for the running back that time, just slipped out over on that right side and was able to get a first down for CAU that was much needed.
Daquan Kinsey, he's a freshman out of Abbeville, Alabama. Nice positive yardage on the carry. 14 yards. First down and 10 for CAU. Looking to see if they take a shot on this 1-on-1 coverage on the outside. Kinsey on the carry again. 30, 35. First down yardage again. Second consecutive play for positive yardage for the freshman. Give them 11 yards on that carry, Jamie.
And again, seeing that front four go upfield, the running back is able to slip behind them and get positive yardage. You have to have some kind of counteraction behind this rush going forward that they now have to account for the running back.
For Morehouse, Dalen Land on the tackle. First down and 10 this time from the 39. Quarterback keeper is Sharif, and Sharif almost has that ball stripped out of his hands. Aggressive play by Daniel Norman, who's going to strip that football. And it's a net loss, a tackle for loss, and that's where Daniel Norman has excelled. 14 tackle for losses on the season. Add another one to the ledger for him, Jamie.
Most definitely. When you saw the running back again, try to take it on the right side. When you're having a zone read type of set offensively, you saw Sharif Brown try to take it back door, but again, a lot of hats to the football. They were able to cover both plays up.
We had a chance to talk to Sharif Brown before the game, and I know he was excited about getting an opportunity if it presented itself, and here it is. Sharif has a brother, Shakur, that's actually started the season with the Pittsburgh Steelers and got a little tryout with the Lions as well, looking to land with them.
Was. Saw the incomplete pass from Brown.
You saw Tate going in motion there. Brown receiving the snap and simply misfiring on the play.
And again, when you're coming in cold, it's one of those things where you have to get your own rhythm as a quarterback. That's why coaches tend to not, rotate quarterbacks that much, because it is a rhythm game.
Wendell Warren was the intended receiver, so it looks like they're mixing up the receiver group as well. Third down and 10 from the 39-yard line. Brown waiting in shotgun formation, receives the snap, looks. Now he's under pressure. He's going to scramble out to the right and in and out of the hands. Man, right in the wickets to Kinsey, and that's his second drop this afternoon.
Kinsey with the second drop. You can't have that if you're trying to get back in this ball game. You're already down 21 points. You really have to now come up with plays to be able to get your ball club back into, back into competition. You saw Brown go out to his right, had the awareness to actually get it to Kinsey, but Kinsey with the drop. And again, giving the ball back to this Morehouse offense.
Francisco Lebos set to punt. Lobo from the 39-yard line. That's where the football is, the line of scrimmage. Pride is back. And now Tate switches sides. There's the snap. The punt is away. And it is going to be down right there at the 18-yard line. That's a 43-yard punt by Lobo. And with 10 minutes and 18 seconds to play, Morehouse leads it by a score of 21-0. But speaking about leading, since 2016, these two teams have traded wins, with each winning on their own home field. But bragging rights go to Clark Atlanta University. Overall, CAU leads the series with Morehouse, 51 wins versus 37 losses and 3 ties. That's according to CAU athletics records. All right, first down and 10 for Morehouse College at the 19-yard line. That football complete to Frank Bailey Jr., and Cullum comes up to greet him, and let's see, he's going to be ruled out of bounds at the 32-yard line. 14 yards on that play, and it's a first down for the Maroon Tigers.
Again, Sims being comfortable in the pocket. Just saw Bailey out of the backfield, slipped the ball to him, got positive yards. And again, keeping the chains moving for the Maroon Tigers.
First and 10 from the 32. 9:51 to play in the half. What do you call that set? A pistols twin set?
Mm-hmm. Odd formation there.
Frank Bailey Jr. within the receiver set.
And again, Bailey being able to show that skill set again, not getting a direct hit. That kind of goes over and over again. When you're able to be a running back that can fall for positive yards and actually be able to have defenders have to concentrate on actually getting you to the ground, that's a plus.
Kadarius Green making his first start this afternoon on that last tackle for CAU. Kadarius Green, he clocks in at 5'7". Maybe not big of stature, but he definitely has a presence on the football field for this CAU Panthers defense. Second down and 5. Bailey Jr. is spun around, and he will be dropped at the 37. So maybe a gain of 1 as we get a look at the replay.
You can see them at the point of attack being able to create that new line of scrimmage, and Bailey had no running room at all.
Rodney Lewis in on the stop, and that's going to bring up a third down. And while I have a moment, special thanks to SID here at CAU, Ad Seymour, for providing us with some information. We do appreciate that. As well as our spotter this afternoon, Calvin Morgan. Sims rolls. He'll toss. Looking for a man, Connell, and it's going to be, is it a complete pass? Uh-oh. We've got some jaw jabbing, and a flag comes in.
Again, you don't want to see that. Competitive rivals, you want to see a good, clean ball game. Those kinds of things happen when you across the street, down the road, you see each other every day.
On the block.
You're going to fight your brother sometimes. It happens.
Well, let's see how this all plays out. And they'll gather at the 25-yard line. Steve Purdy and his crew. Did you get anything from the replay then?
Didn't see where it started, but you can see Connell go up for the football. It's all kinds of stuff said, that we are not privy to.
No.
So depending on what's going on, it's clearly frustrating right now if you're the Clark Atlanta Panthers. You're down 21-0. You're going into the second quarter. And right now you see the Maroon Tiger offense being able to capitalize on certain plays. There may be some frustration shown.
And they called that penalty against the CAU Panthers. And they are going to move that football down to the 19-yard line, where Morehouse has it. First down and 10, moving left to right. Tolliver comes in motion to the far side of the football field. Sims now has it. Now he'll pull it, rolling off to his left. He's got a man looking in the end zone, and that football is going to be picked off by Tim Jones, number 38 from his safety position.
Yeah, Jones just absolutely read the eyes of Sims that time. Tried to roll left, looked for a receiver, had an opening for a second, but you can see Jones just get in front of the football, go up and got it at his highest point and came down with the interception.
Timothy Jones, the freshman out of Douglasville, attended Chapel Hill High School, comes up with the first interception of his career.
And then told him about it after.
All right, so the CAU faithful and this CAU Panthers offense, they have something to build on. 7 minutes and 39 seconds to play in the second quarter. Duane Walker along with Jamie Walker. Panther Stadium, Senior Day. First and 10 from the 20. Brown going downtown. Oh! Looking for Jakar Jerry, number 14, the leading catch getter on this team for CAU. Along with their tight end with 22 catches. Just couldn't make that connection, Jamie.
And I was wondering when Jakar Jerry was going to be part of the offense. Really has been shut out the entire game. But that is that person that can open this passing game up for Clark Atlanta.
No question about it. All right, 7 minutes and 35 seconds to play. It is second down from the 20-yard line. Brown waiting in the pocket. He'll throw near side. It is going to be complete. Corey King Jr. on that reception, coming up with his 11th reception of the season. And so that's positive yardage for CAU.
Most definitely. Brown read the coverage that time and just simply played pitch and catch, saw the open man and got it.
Third down and 4. Let's see if the Panthers can capitalize. Trip wide receivers to the far side of the field. Brown has it, now under pressure. He'll throw the football downfield, incomplete pass. And better served to throw that one away rather than have it picked off, Jamie.
Absolutely. You saw again, both quarterbacks have been under duress all game. But Brown that time with the strong arm saw, one-on-one matchup that he could possibly exploit. But, just as good that, they were able to not make the big mistake. And now again, fourth down. And this offense stalling for Clark Atlanta.
We will see what happens here. It's going to be Lobo waiting to punt this football away. Under pressure, but he'll get it off. Taken there at the, loose ball there temporarily. And they're going to mark it at the 35-yard line.
It's actually a really good punt by Lobo that time. Pride had to kind of retreat, go back, caught the ball, but shoestring tackle.
35 yards. 35. And let's see. There's a timeout on the field. Let's take a quick timeout, too, with our score. Morehouse 21, CAU, no score. Down in 10 for CAU. And on that first down carry, Frank Bailey Jr. will carry it for what looks to be a Maroon Tigers first down. It is close depending on the mark. And it is a first down. Credit him 10 yards on that play.
Whatever S word we chose, again, for Frank Bailey, slithering and sliding, whatever it is, he made it that time. And also, you can see his skill ability, being able to set up his blockers to get extra yards.
Frank Bailey Jr. in that first quarter ran for 37 yards, averaging 5.3 yards a carry. Ooh, he got served. That looked like Quez Williams, number 27, in on that play. Big stick there as we look at the replay. Taquez Williams, he's the freshman out of Kalapa, Sandy Creek High School. You like that?
Yes, I do. I would, add the other lyric. That's not
the other syllables.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. From College Park.
No. You got to know the song. They do not chop cars there. No, they don't. But again, you can see Quez being able to actually slide in, running back, going that time. Frank Bailey again. When you can't get a direct hit on him, these kinds of hits are valuable.
And Williams got today's start because of the knee injury to Charles Crawford at the end of last week's game against Benedict. And there's a timeout on the field as Steve Purdy will give us the official word. With 5 minutes and 43 seconds to play in the half. And speaking of the half, just a reminder, hey, coming up at half, we'll have an opportunity to see the bands. We'll talk about that more after this break. With just under 6 minutes to play in the second quarter, Morehouse moving left to right, 2nd down and 10 from the 45. Pride on the reception, but he's going to be dropped down as soon as he caught the football. And jumping up and down on that stop for CAU was number 40. Look, number 46, pardon me, Xavier Hopkins.
Yeah, Morehouse being able to use the crossing route to actually get and generate some offense, but that time ran a little short right there in front of the linebackers and almost near the lineman. And so Clark Atlanta in the perfect position to make the tackle.
Gain of 1, 3rd down and 9. Sims waiting, under pressure. Oh, they had him and let him get away. 50, 45, and now brought down from behind at the 43-yard line. Man, they had him wrapped up initially, but they let him get away.
Absolutely, had him in his midst, but even though he's a classic pocket passer, he has the ability to be able to run, to take it back door. Saw green grass in front, wanted to move the chains, and was successful in doing so.
Andre Felder had to chase him down from his defensive line position. 1st down yardage after the scamper by the quarterback. 1st and 10 at the 44 of CAU. There's Davis. And Davis moves the pile, still moving it, trying to get near the 1st down. And it's going to be 1st down yardage after a rugged 11-yard carry.
Once again, and you didn't see many Morehouse players in that scrum, so you can see the power of Ernest Davis, that classic running back, being able to, hit the hole, move the pile, move his feet, and make sure that you see that physicality in that running game.
Davis is a 5'10" freshman out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And he packs a punch when he hits the line of scrimmage. 1st down yardage after that 11-yard carry. Maroon Tigers 1st down and 10 at the CAU 34. Twin receivers to the near side. There's a fake, there's a crossing pattern, and it's going to skip off the turf, incomplete. Looking for Pride at the 21-yard line.
As you can see, the passing game really hadn't been as crisp as Morehouse would like it. Again, you've had open receivers, but a lot of drops. And again, in that replay, Pride could have actually, come up with that football, but a little low. But if you're a receiver, doing it for this long, you know how to catch those footballs. So, again, passing game has to improve for Morehouse.
Number 91, Willie Jones checks into the game for CAU in the right defensive end slot. 2nd down. And there's a burst once again off right tackle for Davis.
Number 20, Ernest Davis with the carry.
And that football will be placed at the 27.
You'd love to see this kind of balance in a backfield and really just a running game altogether. Ernest Davis, he's not going to pitter-pat. He's not, Frank Bailey, but he is a quality running back. And as a freshman, I'm impressed really with his ability to gain positive yardage. You don't see him going backwards a whole lot.
Rodney Lewis on that tackle. 6-yard carry, maybe 7, call it 7. 3rd down and 3. Here's Davis again. Up the middle, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Maroon Tigers. Number 20, Ernest Davis, picking up his 6th rushing touchdown of the season.
Look at that hole right on the replay. It was nothing but green grass in front of him. Full back in front, getting that lead block, sprung Davis, and was untouched until he got to the end zone.
Corey Fleming, number 44, the big tight end, he delivered a pancake block that resulted in that touchdown. That was incredible.
Yes, it was. When you're able to run the football effectively like that, you're really a hard offense to stop.
And with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left to play, the Morehouse Maroon Tigers, if they can convert this extra point attempt by S. De La Mora, will lead it by a score of 28-0. The kick is through the uprights, and that's where we stand with 2 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the first half. Just a reminder, we invite our viewers to stick around for the upcoming halftime show, which will feature 2 exciting performances from the Morehouse, the House of Funk, followed by the Clark Atlanta Mighty Marching Panthers. That's just around the corner when we come back. So, Jamie, there you get a look at some of the cheerleaders here on hand, the Maroon Tigers, just across the yard, if you will, here at the AU Center, as we respectfully call it. And it really was a perfect day for football, Jamie. We came out, just beautiful temperature, a little bit brisk, but still just a fine day for football.
Most definitely. You want those kind of days in football. You know, football is definitely made for the fall. You know, covering some spring stuff this past spring, you know, there was some thoughts of, hey, could we do this year round? But fall is made for football. You get into these cool temps now. You know, you're down there in pads and off the field. It's the perfect temperature today here from Panther Stadium.
All right. Hey, all roads lead to Rock Hill for the 2021 SIAC Volleyball Championship from November 15th through the 18th. Follow the SIAC on social media at the SIAC for full coverage of the tournament. Estelorama will kick off the football, and it will be taken at the 7-yard line. Here comes West, 25, 30. Go West, young man. Or should I say North, young man. Big return by Ronnie West. And now here comes a late flag, and now another late flag. And the CAU Panthers are pointing back the other way, but we'll have to wait and see.
As you can see, fielding that ball at the 7. You know, just a straight drop to the left side, had some running room, had a convoy in front of him, and just, you know, got what he could before he ran out of bounds. But again, Clark Atlanta needs these kind of plays to get back into this ball game. They're a second half team, so they're not out of it by any stretch of the imagination.
Depending on the mark, you see the Maroon Tigers, they're signaling that it's against the offense, but Steve Purdy will gather with his officiating crew, and a fine officiating crew it is, and we'll get the call here from referee Sean Purdy.
We have fouls on both teams. Go to play. Good return. Personal foul. Return team. Number 44. Personal foul. Kicking team. Number 45. Let's foul will offset. Will re-kick.
So they will set it up and do it all again. Number 36, Fernando S. De La Mora will restack the deck. Ronnie West and number 7, Jeremy Tate, both back deep for the CAU Panthers, and ironically enough, coming in, both Tate and Ronnie West averaging 18.9 yards per kickoff return as you get a look at those two. And I know we mentioned how young this CAU Panthers team, and Coach Bowens was telling me about how they have character education each and every Friday, and we'll talk about that a little later. Tate grabs the football at the 12-yard line of the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, before finally being pushed out of bounds. And that may have been a touchdown-saving tackle by Caleb Grant, number 31.
Most definitely. Stayed front side. You know, had some thoughts about cutting it back against the grain, but just stayed in this area, took it down the left sideline, and got what he could.
So, big return by Tate. His longest return of the season was 37 yards, and that will be a match. First down and 10 for the CAU Panthers at the 42.
An important drive for CAU as they hope to get some points.
Brown is the quarterback, number 13. We had a chance to talk to him, Jamie, before today's game. Trip wide receivers. Brown immediately under pressure and immediately brought down on the play. You might as well give a half a sack. You want to call it a half a sack apiece?
I don't know. The way the line attacked that time, you may, divide it in threes.
Xavier McKinney, number 45, was one of the folks in there, wrapping them up. There you see in your screen right there. Third down, second down and 13. The football is complete to Corey King Jr. And that's going to be a gain of 7. It brings forth a third down and 7 situation. Shotgun formation. Brown waiting, looking, running, and tripped up at the ankles. And it looked like number 45 once again, Xavier McKinney, coming up with that tackle.
Yeah, McKinney absolutely saved a much longer run by Sharif Brown. You can see him being the only, barrier between him and another at least 5 yards that time and the first down. So we'll see what Clark decides to do, and it looks like
there's a timeout on the field with 1 minute and 7 seconds to play in the first half. What a play by Xavier McKinney, the freshman out of Homewood, Illinois. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to pass along details of the UBS SIAC partnership, which has been specifically constructed to invest in students attending SIAC's 15 colleges and universities across 6 states. The initiative will focus on delivering a financial literacy and wellness curriculum to SIAC students and to introduce students to the opportunities available for them in the financial services industry. Students will also gain access to UBS's recruiting and development programs, including UBS Tomorrow's Talent Program, a virtual accelerator aimed at increasing college and career success for diverse college students. Also, Coca-Cola has been a proud partner of the SIAC for over 70 years and will continue to serve as the official beverage partner of the SIAC, and certainly want to thank them. Big fourth down situation for CAU at the 49-yard line. They need to get to the 48-yard line of Morehouse. The pass, it's going to be complete.
Phenomenal.
Jakar Jerry. The jury was out on Jerry earlier today, and he finally comes up big.
Most definitely. You saw Brown just rear back and throw. Jakar Jerry went up again to the highest point as you want to see as a receiver. Just went up and caught the ball. But Jakar Jerry is the key to this Panther offense getting back in this game.
16-yard pass play. Brown recoils, and he misfires while you were away, and there's going to be a flag down. May have been some roughing the passer.
Yeah, you can see, again, that Morehouse Maroon Tiger defensive line, relentless to the football. Didn't get to him that time, but wanted to lay a hat and may have cost them some yards. Again, you talked about how penalized they are. Sometimes in that effort it happens.
So it's an automatic first down for CAU. We mentioned it earlier in our broadcast that the Maroon Tigers are penalized over 10 times a game for an average of 87 yards, and this one is going to hurt because it puts CAU in the red zone for the first time this afternoon. Let's see if they can capitalize on the opportunity. First down and 10 at the Morehouse 19-yard line. Panthers moving from right to left. Brown gets the low snap. He has a notion he has room to run if he tries. He gets down to the 15, 14, 13, maybe the 12-yard line, depending on the spot. They're going to mark it at the 11. So 8 yards on the quarterback keeper.
And I love Brown's awareness that time. You see wanted to make that pass, wanted to go to the end zone, but saw, again, those defenders chasing him. And, again, had the presence of mind not to make the big mistake, got what he could, got out of bounds.
CAU 11 of 16 on the season in red zone scoring opportunities. That's 69%. Second down, 2. Brown steps up in the pocket, but he's going to be met there, and he's going to be dropped. From my vantage point, it looked like number 11, Tyler Hunter, was one of the first guys to get a hold of him.
Hunter was one of those again, players relentless to the ball. Ashley Brown did a pretty good job of getting out of the convoy, but again, when you have, 11 men to a hat, it's hard to get out of those instances.
And there is a timeout on the field, but we are going to keep it right here with 27 seconds to play. Morehouse dominating this one by a score of 28-0. And I know we're talking about just the flurry of injuries that the CAU Panthers have had. I mean, I just reeled off 11 injuries. They start 5 freshmen on defense. They start 6 freshmen on offense. And let's be frank, it's a little tough to do with such youth, but it will pay off dividends in future seasons. And I talked about how, even though it's a rough patch, Coach Bowens, they have something called character education, where each Friday for 30 minutes, the players get an opportunity to sound off on their feelings, not only about on the football field, but what's going on in their everyday lives.
I think that's important as we're looking in the professional ranks where players are talking about having to step away from the game to concentrate on mental health. I think when you start at this point and you release the stigma of it, I think it's a positive thing. So when you're talking about them being able to step back and talk about their feelings, I think that's very good.
And I know earlier you and I had a chance to talk to Isaiah Goolsby, and we'll get into that conversation after this third down play. Brown looking towards the end zone. Touchdown! Number 15, Kendall Wimberly, the 6'2" tight end out of Benjamin E. Mays High School, comes up with the reception for a touchdown.
Down the street, but Wimberly absolutely went up and got the ball, fought for the football, and he was that other person in the pass game that needed to come up large to win this ball game. So you can see, went up, got the ball game, kept this concentration, got over the defender, never fell to the ground, ball never hit the ground, and secured the catch.
That was a 50-50 ball that Kendall Wimberly won, and in doing so picks up his 4th touchdown reception of the season. And with 22 seconds to play in the first half, Carlos Saldana will kick the extra point attempt, which is up, and it is good. So the home team gets in on the scoreboard with 22 seconds to play. Our score, the Morehouse Maroon Tigers 28, the CAU Panthers 7. Welcome back, everybody. Just 21 ticks remaining in the first half of play. And we remind everyone once again, coming up at halftime, we'll have performances from the Morehouse House of Funk, followed by the Clark Atlanta Mighty Marching Panthers. Make sure you stay tuned to that. CAU Panthers, they're on the scoreboard, and they will kick the football off. Taken there at the 9-yard line, up to the 20. It's Frank Bailey Jr., and driven out of bounds at the 24-yard line. 15 yards on the return, 15 seconds remaining on the clock in the first half.
Yeah, just again, Frank Bailey being able to, star in a few key spots for Morehouse. As again, you can see, your
tempers
neighbors, tempers flaring, and you can see, just the importance of this game. Morehouse is definitely the more mature team as far as age. A lot of seniors on their squad that's playing their last game, whereas Clark Atlanta is the younger squad, but feisty and wanting to show what they are and what they will be going forward.
And we had a chance to talk to a couple of the players, especially on the Morehouse side, guys that are playing in their last game. We spoke to the wide receiver, Mr. Delancey Tolliver, along with quarterback Michael Sims. And Michael Sims, quarterback, says, hey, he just wants to have fun and try to go out with a victory.
Most definitely. When you're a senior, this is your last football ever. Possibly.
Possibly. First down and 10. Frank Bailey Jr. cuts it, spins it, gets it, still moving the pile. And after all is said and done, 9 yards. Man, oh, man.
Again, being able to turn, twist, and do things to fall forward is often a plus if you're a running back.
And the clock hits 00. We've reached the midway point of our contest with Morehouse leading Clark Atlanta 28-7. And once again, we invite our viewers to stay tuned for the upcoming halftime show, which will feature 2 magnificent performances from the Morehouse House of Funk, followed by the Clark Atlanta Mighty Marching Panthers. That's just around the corner after we take this time out with our score, Morehouse 28, Clark Atlanta 7. And welcome back, everyone, to Panther Stage. There you can look at the Clark Atlanta Mighty Marching Panther Band. Hey, let's take a look at the scoring in the first half. Morehouse College, they got it going early. Marquez Pride receiving a 9-yard pass from Michael Sims. That made the score 8-0 after the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, when you see those, that happening. Again, being able to score in the passing game is what Morehouse wanted.
Then in the second quarter, Albert Cannell received a 6-yard touchdown pass from Michael Sims to put Morehouse up 15-0. And then a huge interception return for a touchdown, a 25-yard touchdown return by Dalen Land after the deflection by Marquise Dewart.
Yes, we saw again that defensive line, really the story of the first half, going against that Clark Atlanta offense, being able to rush them into just bad positions and bad throws, and you can see what happens when they capitalize off that mistake.
That made the score 21-0. 2-point attempt failed, so that's the way the score remained. And speaking of Morehouse, coming into the game, they had scored 65 points off of turnovers and now make that 72 after that big touchdown return by David Lamb. Then Ernest Davis, I know we've talked about this running back. What a power running back he is, standing at over 5'7", but he went on a 27-yard scamper to give Morehouse a commanding 28-0 lead.
Yeah, when you see Ernest Davis coming in, spelling, Frank Bailey Jr., who's the more the scat back, you saw that pure power, just be able to, use the lead block, be able to go in the end zone untouched.
To CAU's credit, they bounced back, and as we know, Jamie, all season long, the Panthers haven't necessarily been a first-quarter team or even a second-quarter team, but a second-half team. But they did manage to score with 22 seconds left to play in the half. Sharif Brown, who spelled Elijah Odom, came in to throw a 13-yard touchdown pass to Kendall Wimberly, his 4th touchdown of the season, to make the score 28-7.
Again, Coach Bowen's riding the high hand. Sharif Brown comes in, throws the pass over the top. Kendall Wimberly goes up and gets the ball, fights for it, and they finally get on the board.
All right, so that's where we stand. And, Jamie, as we look at the halftime stats, was there anything that jumped out at you?
Just the balance in really both squads. You see the amount of first downs that surprisingly Clark Atlanta was able to get, but just the pure scoring of Morehouse, being able to get in the end zone several more times, is really the story.
Time of possession, Morehouse College 16 minutes 34 seconds, CAU 13:26. Really, what jumps off to me is the rushing attack for Morehouse College. 21 rushes for 129 yards in that first half of play.
And seemingly you're looking at the non-rushing attack for Clark Atlanta not being able to be balanced offensively. They're throwing a lot of balls in this first half and not being able to capitalize on all of them. But hey, they got to run the football in the second half and get back in it, which is crazy considering the score.
Big games today throughout the SIAC. Central State taking on Kentucky State, Tuskegee at Miles. That's the biggie right there. Fort Valley State at Albany State, Lane at Benedict, and Edward Waters on the road against Savannah State. And everyone's going to want to know the results of that Tuskegee at Miles game.
Yeah, right now I think Miles is up again, but I think that score is at halftime now. Miles leading, but it's a bunch of scoreboard leaning in other games.
Escalorama kicks the football off, and it's going to be down right there at the 30-yard line. Is that Perry Selden? Will pick up a number for CAU. It looked like Z Poole, number 20, caught that football. And that's where CAU will take over, first down and 10 at the 30-yard line. Duane Walker, Jamie Walker, hope you are enjoying today's broadcast. 28-7 our score. CAU will have the football to begin the second half of play. They're wearing their black uniforms, black helmets, white stripes down the pant. And they are moving from right to left. First down and 10 from the 30-yard line. Trip receivers to the near side is going to be complete to Jakar Jerry. 35, 40, 45, midfield, 45-40, and down at the 38-yard line. 32-yard pass reception, pass play from Sharif Brown to Jakar Jerry.
Really good play set up that time. Throwing just above the screen, had a convoy out in front. You saw them take advantage. Daniel Norman was blitzing that time. You saw them take advantage of that blitzing defensive end corner, linebacker, kind of hybrid position, and just be able to slip right in front of that Jakar Jerry getting upfield.
That first down pass is caught on the near side of the football field. See if we can get a number. Looked like Warren, number 87, on that reception for CAU. Wendell Warren, just his second catch of the season. Good for 8 yards. And it's second down and 2. Twin receivers to the top and bottom of the formation. Brown receives the snap, waits, looks to his left, now wants to carry the football, and pulls his way down across the 20-yard line. So first down yardage, that's a run of 10, and we have a Morehouse Maroon Tiger laying on the turf, and that's not a guy you would expect to be the victim of such a run. And that's big number 55, Marquise DeWert, the 6'1", 275-pound senior out of LA Valley Community College. And if he needs help coming off the field, he must be hurt because he's a tough guy.
Absolutely. For lack of a better term, warrior. He will battle every single play for this Morehouse defense.
And they're going to tend to him, and while they do that, we'll keep it right here. The ESPN SIAC deal is the #1 media rights deal in Division II beginning this year, ESPN. It's featured 22 football games across ESPNU and ESPN Plus, including the SIAC Football Championship, which will take place next week. In addition, ESPN will have the exclusive rights to all men's and women's basketball championship preliminary rounds on ESPN Plus, and the SIAC men's and women's basketball championship games on ESPN networks. This partnership will feature SIAC contests on ESPN through 2027. And speaking of upcoming games, Allen will host Edward Waters last weekend of the season on championship week. First down and 10 for CAU. And they are officially in the red zone. Is Kinsey on the carry.
Number 6, Stephon Kinsey on the carry.
And Kinsey will gain maybe a yard on the play.
It looks like Elijah Campbell on the stop, being able to, again, showing that defensive line for Morehouse, stopping the run.
Second down and 9. Waiting in the pocket. Now in motion goes Little. Rolling out to his right is Brown. Brown throws towards the end zone. It's Jakar Jerry had it in his grasp until number 3 Joel Gertman, the 5'10 sophomore out of Atlanta, said no, and stuck his hand in there to break it up.
Yeah, Joel Gertman is one of those tough corners. You'll see him come in and really a special teams demon, come into the secondary and be able to, almost like he's smallish, but you can see him playing a linebacker role, even in the secondary, being able to, go make tackles, but also play coverage as well.
Third down and 9. Kinsey just off to the left of Brown, waiting for the snap. There it is. Brown has it, steps up in the pocket, has a running lane, 15, 14, 13, 10, and he will bull his way down to the 8-yard line. So, well, that's an 11-yard carry by the sophomore quarterback.
And it's clear to me that they told him to be more decisive. You can see his runs being a little more run-oriented when he doesn't see that first read. So I think that's kind of an emphasis coming out of the locker room into the second half that, hey, if you don't see anything, go ahead and move the chains. We need to get back in this ballgame.
First and goal for Sharif Brown and the CAU Panthers offense. looking to score on their second consecutive drive. That football is handed off there. And did we have a, let me see, is there a quarterback in there? Jamie, I'm trying to see, is that still Brown in the ball game, number 13?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just handed off the football.
4-yard line, 2nd and goal, Panthers.
2 yards on the carry. Kinsey off to his left on 2nd and goal. Waiting for the snap. In the pocket is Brown. Eludes a guy, but he's not going to elude the second defender who got a hand on him. And surprise, surprise, in the mix is number 11, Tyler Hunter, who had 4 sacks coming in, add a couple this afternoon. 6 sacks on the season.
Once again, Tyler Hunter again expressing to me and everyone that's looking at this that he feels quarterbacks taste like chicken. So he goes after him, with relentless abandon. And again, you have to block him to work and really that forward wall in general to keep, players off your quarterback.
And they marked that football at the 4-yard line, so officially that will not be a sack. Trip formation to the top of the set. They throw it to Wimberly, and it's caught for a touchdown. That's been the bread and butter play. Kendall Wimberly, the tight end, going up and getting it.
Yes, very much so. You can see the replay here. They were decisive. Saw one-on-one coverage. That was the matchup going on. And you saw him go up and get the ball earlier. So, hey, why not go back to him? Caught it with his big strong catch there with his hands. And, hey, got the hands out, imitating his, using his best Jay-Z impression. What more can I say? Throw me the football.
Kendall Wimberly, his 24th reception of the season, 5th touchdown reception of the year. Saldana in for the extra point attempt. It's on the way, and it is good. And with precisely 11 minutes to play in the third quarter, well, the CU Panthers, they answer with 14 straight points to cut the Morehouse Maroon Tiger lead in half. There's your score.
Georgia Power, powering tomorrow, today.
Duane Walker, Jamie Walker, Calvin Morgan doing our spotting this afternoon. CAU Panthers, they trail now 28-14, and Jamie, they are coming to life on offense.
Yes, they are, and I think what happened was they simplified it. What they said was, hey, Mr. Brown, we need you to go on some decisive runs now to keep that defensive line off balance for Morehouse.
Bailey Jr. receives it in the end zone, decides to bring it out, and he's going to be chopped down to size at the 17-yard line. Extraordinary effort there by number 51, Shaka Brown.
Shaka with the shot that time. I tell you what, Bailey had some more room, but give Shaka credit for getting him down. And now we'll see if Morehouse can answer that CAU excitement.
Shaka Brown,
Yeah.
Shaka Brown.
Shaka Brown.
I'm so weird. First down and 10 for Morehouse going left to right. They have the football with 10:55 to play in the third quarter. They handed the second man through Bailey Jr., weaving up to the 35-yard line. And that, my friends, was simply a quick 18-yard hitter.
And you cannot give Bailey those opportunities. He is also a second-half back. And I'll tell you what, as much as he's running the first half, you can see him explode in the second half right now, continue to run that clock. You have a 2-touchdown lead. So right now, clock may not be a consideration, but, hey, give him the football and see what happens.
First down and 10 from the 35. Michael Sims, he's the quarterback, waiting for the snap. He'll hand it to Bailey Jr. up to the 40, eludes one guy, and up near the 43-yard line. So another 8-yard carry for Bailey Jr.
Again, not being able to get a direct hit. You can see him get the handoff over that left side. Great blocking, but you can also see him turning sideways, not being able to get that direct hit, and just slides and slivers his way for almost, 9 yards.
Finally stopped by Timothy Jones coming up from his safety position. Bailey ran for 67 yards in that first half of play. Second down and 1 after the 9-yard carry. Davis this time, and he may have enough for the first down.
And the pin would be what the spot is, but
they're moving the chains, my friend.
they are.
Ball's at the 45-yard line.
First down at the 45 as we get a look at the replay.
Yeah, you can see them just simply shift. The CAU defense went along with it and made the stop, but you only needed a little bit just to move the chains.
Darius Barron making the stop, number 52, from his nose tackle position. First down and 10 from the 45. Maroon Tigers moving from left to right. Duane Walker, Jamie Walker. Hope you're enjoying it. There is a flag down on the play. There you hear Sean Purdy with the call there.
And you can't have those, pre-snap penalties, especially with being a veteran ball club. But again, we talked about how heavily penalized that Morehouse is.
Clock ticking down. 8:52, 8:51 to play. First down and 15 after the penalty, Jamie, from the 40. And there's that guy. He packs a punch at 5'7" tall. I mean, what can you say about Davis?
You can say a lot about Davis. Just keeps his legs churning, and really, you can't get him on initial contact. You better bring your A game and get him down, or else he's going to carry you with him. So much so that, he needs to charge bus fare.
11 yards on the carry, and how ironic, he averaged 10.6 yards per carry in the first half. 5 carries, 53 yards, including that 27-yard touchdown he scored in the second stanza. Second down and 4. Here's Davis down to the 40, 35, 31-yard line, depending on the mark. They may have set him back to the 33, but nonetheless, a first down for Morehouse.
Give credit to Kyle Warmack that time leading the pack. Now you see Ernest Davis directing him, but hey, Warmack was looking for a second man to block, absolutely sprung him. And again, this running game is clicking for Morehouse right now, kind of combating what Clark Atlanta is doing on offense, running the clock, moving the chains.
15-yard rush by Ernest Davis. First down and 10 situation again for Morehouse at the CAU 33-yard line. Twin receivers to the top of the formation. Sims has it. Now he'll hand it. And brought down is Frank Bailey Jr. by Rodney Lewis, number 53. And Rodney Lewis is all over the football field as he has been all afternoon from his banded position.
Yeah, you can see him tracking from the left side, going over to the right side. But by that time, Bailey had picked his way through the line and gotten some positive yardage. And again, you're seeing this running game starting to, dominate and starting to show itself to be dominant against this defensive line of Clark's.
Second down and 7. Sims waiting, receiving, steps up in the pocket. Now he lobs one up in the air to Tolliver. Unfortunately, it is out of bounds, and it will be an incomplete pass.
Yes, Tolliver wished the field was 54.5 wide instead of 52. And he would have had a reception, but just didn't have enough real estate that time to complete that pass.
Third down from the 30. And now we'll have Albert Cadell, number 81, check into the game. Delante Tolliver on the numbers, near side of the field. Sims waiting. Now he'll reset. Frank Bailey Jr. off to his left. Waiting. There's the snap. Looking. He's going to go with a crossing pattern. It's incomplete. Intended for Pride. And for the third time, the football ricochets off of Pride's hands. I mean, 3 drops already today.
Listen, I don't know if you saw the movie before Necessary Roughness, but he needs to start talking to him right now. The ball is your friend. The ball is your friend. And you've seen wide
help
yes,
you.
Yes. You've seen the wide open crossing patterns. You've seen them be able to run them with precision. The drops have impeded this offense so far, and they'd be, much more ahead if they were just able to catch the football.
S. De La Mora in to attempt what looks like a 46-yard field goal. Waiting for the snap. There's the snap. It's low. It kicks on the way. It's a low one, but it is no good, wide to the right. So The CAU Panthers, they managed to keep the Maroon Tigers off of the scoreboard, and they will go on offense yet again, trying to dig into this Morehouse lead.
Absolutely. When you see, a long field goal try, again, you had some momentum on offense. You're moving the football. You kick a long field goal. You miss it. Now you're giving that momentum back to Clark Atlanta, who has chopped into your lead so far. We'll see if Clark Atlanta can continue with that momentum.
First down and 10. They have it at their own 30-yard lines, moving right to left. Brown is in the shotgun. Triple wide receiver set to the top of the formation. Brown has it, looking, under duress, tries to elude a man and wisely throws the football out of bounds.
I'm going to tell you what, Brown did a phenomenal job that time in getting away. Again, that defensive line for Morehouse is relentless to the football, but give credit to Brown. Didn't take the sack that time, got a little bit outside the pocket, and I think that was, again, Tyler Hunter on the pressure. But Brown actually, kept himself upright, got rid of the football, and now it's 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 15.
Hot pursuit by Tyler Hunter, who already has a couple of sacks this afternoon. Brings up a 2nd down and 10 situation. Twin wide receivers to the top and bottom of the formation. Brown, it's caught by West up to the 36-yard line. Not enough for a first down. Number 28 on the tackle, that's Darian Pittman.
I tell you what, perfect pitch and catch that time from Brown to West. And West really made a really good football move that time. Almost got away from Darian that time to get upfield.
3rd down and 8 in the first half. CAU was 1 of 8 on 3rd down opportunities. Waiting for the snap is Brown. He has it now. Looking, throwing, catching! Drakar Jerry, 35, 31-yard line.
Again, we talked about just how important Drakar Jerry would be to the passing game and opening it up. Again, you can see Richard Moncrief, offensive coordinator for Clark Atlanta, now opening up this pass game and going to the strengths of Sharif Brown.
35-yard pass play, Brown to Jerry, and guess what? The CAU Panthers are threatening once again. 1st and 10 from the Maroon Tigers 31. They give to Jeremiah Gibbs, looking for running room. He's not going to find any. Off right tackle as Tyler Hunter, number 11, comes up from his linebacking position to make the stop.
Yeah, it had to come up again. The passing game really hadn't worked, but you have to keep running it. You have to use those opportunities to at least keep that defensive line off balance. You saw some of that in the first half, but now it's a continuation of what's going on. Clark Atlanta, again, showing some versatility on offense so far.
Brown now being flanked by Gibbs and Douglas, who's off to his right on a 2nd down situation. Brown in the pocket, now scrambling. He had a man in the open flats, was Douglas, number 34, but off stride was Brown, and he couldn't make the connection.
And that's exactly what happened. Off balance, got pressured that time, had a man wide open in the flats, had green grass in front of him. If he could have completed that pass, that would have gone for a big play. But again, when you're under pressure, you barely see him. You're just trying to get rid of the football at that point.
3rd down situation here from the 30-yard line, and the Panthers, they really have been thriving the last 15 minutes or so of the ball game, or 10 minutes or so of the ball game. They scored with 22 seconds left in the 2nd quarter and has scored here early in the 3rd. Brown has it on 3rd down and 9. Steps up, has running room, tries to elude a man. He does, looking for first down yardage. He has it, still on his feet, down to the 12-yard line.
Again, you can see they told him, be decisive in your running. Once you're dropping back, yes, you're getting pressured, but if you see green grass in front of you, we're down. We need these first downs and points. Go get it, and he has in his 2nd half.
So positive carry and first down yardage for Sharif Brown. And he is a legitimate threat running the football. He is the running quarterback for these CAU Panthers. Sharif Brown, he's got 4 touchdowns this season. There's a carry. That's Gibbs. Jeremiah Gibbs looking towards the end zone. Is it a touchdown? No, they're going to mark it down at the 1-yard line.
I think the ball actually came out when he hit the ground, so definitely safe. But Jeremiah Gibbs now keeping this Morehouse defense honest. And look, this has turned into a ball game if they can punch this thing in the end zone.
13 yards on the carry by Jeremiah Gibbs. And he's looking for the end zone. He's got 1 touchdown rushing the football this season. There's a snap. They give it to, is it Gibbs? But he's short of the end zone. So give credit to number 93. That's Elijah Campbell on that stop for Morehouse.
And this defensive line, they rush the passer, but they can also stop the run. They're not going to just give you the end zone. You're going to have to take it.
Is this 4-down territory for CAU?
Absolutely.
Second down, third down. No, Brown, touchdown. Whether first down or second down, it's touchdown on third down for Sharif Brown. And the Panthers are on the scoreboard again.
There goes that man. Again, you saw it in the first half. We saw him in pregame. Confident young man. Even though he wasn't starting, he knew he would get his opportunity, and it was just a matter of whether the game situation actually was predicated upon what would go on with Elijah Odom. It did. They rolled the hot hand. Sharif Brown has been that general so far.
That's his 5th touchdown scored this year, 4 via the pass, 1 via the run. And that Saldana extra point attempt was no good. A little bit of a hiccup on the coordination there. So, with 3 minutes and 22 seconds to play in the third quarter, the CAU Panthers have scored the last 20 points of the contest. There's a timeout on the field. Let's take this timeout too. Welcome back, everyone, to Panther Stadium on the campus of Clark Atlanta University. Duane Walker along with Jamie Walker. And Jamie, 20 unanswered points by the CAU offense, sparked by Sharif Brown out of Woodland High School in Stockbridge, Georgia.
Once again, Metro Atlanta kid being able to play in front of, I assume, a lot of folks here, leading this charge in this Clark Atlanta Panther attack.
Frank Bailey Jr. from the 2, up to the 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and finally Jeremy Tate, number 7, had to drive him out of bounds for CAU, but not before a 38-yard return by Frank Bailey Jr.
And clearly, Frank Bailey's, has that spark and that, ability to be able to return along with being able to run the football. That's why you have those starters on special teams to be able to give that spark.
So they will place the football at the 40-yard line, and let's see with Michael Sims and this Maroon Tiger offense, which has been silent in the second half for the most part. Let's see if they can get it going. Davis, the second man through, is going to fall down at the 44. Tripped up on the play by Hopkins.
Ernest Davis with the carry.
I'll tell you what, as you're looking, again, Morehouse kind of has gotten conservative in the second half. And I'll tell you what, that first drive, they were able to run a significant amount of clock.
Yes.
But did not get any points on that first drive in the third quarter for them. So
missed field goal, a missed 46-yard attempt by Estolarama. And we have some ongoing scores that we're going to pass along in just a second that you're interested in. Davis on the carry up across midfield. And that's going to be a first down for the Maroon Tigers.
And being able to run with Davis and moving the chains. Again, time going off of the clock. But Clark Atlanta has closed the gap. So now you can't rely on just that running attack alone. You want to put some more points on the board at this point.
First down and 10 from the midfield stripe for the Maroon Tigers. Waiting is Sims. Bowling his way ahead for a gain of 3 is Davis. And getting up from the bottom of the pile is number 4 for CAU, Travis Taylor, who's the spur out of Columbia High School in Atlanta. He's a senior.
So again, on his, last football game, he wants to make his point as well, being able to get this win. And this is not uncommon for Clark and Morehouse. In 2019, came down to the last few seconds.
Davis is going to be dropped after running off tackle.
Ernest Davis again with the carry.
Taquan Williams, number 27, coming up from his safety position. He got the start for Charles Crawford, who actually had to leave the Benedict game last week with a knee injury. Had to be carried off of the field. And he's a senior. Third down and 6 from the Panther 46 for Morehouse. Davis just off to the left of Sims. Now he'll signal for Delancey Tolliver to come into a tighter formation. Waiting for the snap and receiving the snap is Sims. Far side, complete, and dropped immediately is number 81. That's Cannell. And Morehouse is signaling, let's go for it, because it is short of the line of gain. It's going to be placed at the 42-yard line. What are you going to say, Jamie?
Yeah, Zakeem Pruitt that time, great tackle, because him and Connell were on an island one-on-one. He made sure to get him on the ground to prevent the first down.
Z. Pruitt out of Mobile, Alabama, Theodore High School. 4th down and 2. Is there any doubt who's going to get the football here? They give it, but Taylor's going to be equal to the task, and they're going to rustle him to the ground. There he is, number 4, Travis Taylor, letting everybody know, no sirree on 4th down, and the CAU Panthers are going to take over on downs.
This has turned into a contest. You can see those young pups being able to rally to the football and stop that running attack. And we'll see what's going on. Looks like, yes, turnover on downs. So, again, this offense who has absolutely been cooking, we'll see what they come up with now to be able to get back on the board.
Big number 52, Darius Barron, came hobbling off the field, the nose guard for CAU. Let's hope he's okay. Nonetheless, the CAU Panthers, they have the football back. 1st down and 10 at their own 44. Brown is the quarterback. Trip wide receivers to the near side. Warren on the outside. Brown, man, has to elude a man and wisely throws the football out of bounds. They cannot keep the pressure off of the quarterback. This Morehouse Maroon Tigers defense, they are as assertive as it gets, Jamie.
Yes, that front four. You're talking about DeWert, Campbell. You're talking about Hunter. You're also talking about Daniel Norman coming off the edge. Hey, they're relentless to the football.
No question about it. Well, we've reached the end of the 3rd quarter of play, and we have a barn burner here at Panther Stadium with our score, Morehouse 28, CAU 20, but they are threatening. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to Panther Stadium on ESPN+. Morehouse leading 28-20, but CAU has the football on 2nd down and 10. Big stick, a couple of big sticks, as Douglas gets met rudely by a couple of Morehouse Maroon Tigers, and DeWert, number 55, one of the part of the greeting committee.
Listen, I don't think you should get arrested for what you do on the football team, but in the midst of playing. But that looked like it hurt. It looked like it hurt badly. You can see the relentless pressure that they have, but their ability to be able to rally to the football has been, shown and displayed all game.
4 yards, though, 3rd down and 6. Panthers, they've looked dynamic in the second half of play so far. Trip ride receivers to the far side of the field. Brown going for a man. Warren out of bounds. And it brings up 4th down. Now, decision time for Tim Bowens. Now, Bowens, your team has it going. It's 4th and 6. You do have a rhythm going. Do you punt because your defense is playing pretty well right now and containing Morehouse with the 4th quarter just underway?
Yeah, you're down 1 score. You punt this football at this point just to play field position. Hopefully you can get off a good punt. But it's 14-13 left in the contest. Go ahead and punt. Hopefully your defense can hold, because Morehouse hadn't shown much, offensive continuity or versatility in the second half. So maybe you can get that stop and get the ball back with better field position.
Fernando Lobo averaging 38.1 yards per punt coming in. Pride waiting back deep, and there's going to be a penalty. And if this is against the defense, it'll move it up 5 yards,
and now
it'll
ask
leave
that question.
CAU just 1 yard away from a first down.
Exactly. Now that question comes to loom, whether or not this will be the best time to actually go for it. Again, you've been making the stops in the running game on Morehouse. We'll see.
Sean Purdy, he's the white cap. He will deliver the message right now. They're calling him off. Jamie, they're calling off the special teams, so I believe the CAU Panthers are going to go for it.
As they will, and this is risky, but you do have enough time, and you've been playing pretty good defense. So even if you don't get this or don't convert this first down, you have an opportunity to stop Morehouse on offense and get the ball back. But you want to continue with this drive.
Looking at the personnel, they've got a triple receiver set to the near side, and there's a lot of running room along the left. Let's see if Brown decides to keep this football. On 4th down and 1, and there's a flag down. And the preliminary report is that it's going to be on CAU. They're going to say they didn't get enough time on the play clock. Coach Tim Bowens, and he is pleading his case, saying there's no way that they used up all of the time on the play clock. They are going ballistic.
Looks like they'll bring the special teams back out on the field. So.
Coach Bowens, if you get a look at him at the 47-yard line, he is pleading his case to the line judge.
He is pleading his case. A reserved man in stature, but definitely hot that time.
All right. Lobo with the punt. Oh, and it is caught at the 20-yard line. 31-yard punt, but that was an auspicious-looking play, was it not?
I think the defender caught him as Bryant caught the ball, to be perfectly honest with you. But
Wendell Warren on that special teams play, number 87, as you get a look at him in your screen. A perfectly timed tackle and special teams play.
We'll see if Clark can get the stop at this point. They punted the ball. We'll see if they can get this stop. But that was a very interesting sequence just then.
Under 14 minutes to play. You're right, Jamie. 13:59 to play in the 4th. Twin receivers to the top. They'll hand the football off to Bailey Jr., who slides by a man, but there's a flag down. Williams, number 27, one of the first guys on the scene, the safety out of College Park, Sandy Creek High School. And Jamie, I don't know if you've seen what had happened.
Not quite sure if it was a face mask or a hold. A lot of flags came out at the same time, so maybe in the area.
Good call, Jamie. Did you actually see that?
I did not see the face mask, but just because of where it was called and how it was called and how decisive the flags came out, some personal foul.
Well, listen, Jamie, a broken clock is right twice a day, is it not?
Listen, and look, it's going back tonight, so it might be 3.
After the penalty, they'll move the football forward, and Morehouse will have the football first down and 10 at the 41-yard line. Hey, man, you know how rappers have the lyric of the year? That might have been the color analyst line of the year.
Well, I try to do what I can.
Oh, Bailey Jr. on the carry, and he squirms up near a first down. They're going to mark the football at the 48. Net gain 8 yards on the play.
And if you're Bailey, once again, you don't give a defender an opportunity to give a clean shot on you. And again, if Morehouse can continue to run in the football the way they're doing, they're killing the clock right now.
That was pretty dope, Jamie. I mean, that was a dope line, bro. I gotta give it up to you on that.
Write that down. Just give me my credit.
That was epic. Second down from the 48. Call it 3. Sims. Ooh, a delayed hit. That was a combination of was that a draw?
It was. It was a draw.
Rarely do you see draws.
You do. I mean, you don't in this particular zone read type offensive type football now. But after studying film, Morehouse put this in their arsenal, to kind of combat what Albany State was doing last week. So they ran some of that, but. Clark Atlanta was ready for it that time, and now it's, 3rd and long.
3rd down and 10. Biggest 3rd down of the game so far. Why do we say that? Because CAU has a bunch of momentum. On 3rd down in the first half, Morehouse was actually 7 of 10. Low snap, gets away from Sims, but he recovers. Looking now, he'll throw now, and it's He misfires along the Morehouse College sideline, and that's going to bring up 4th down.
And you can see Clark Atlanta playing coverage that time. Didn't have much of a rush at all, just a 3-man rush. Tried to play coverage because it was 3rd and 10 and really was able to not give Sims a throwing lane at all.
Fernando S. De La Rama, he's out to do the punting, and Jakar Jerry is back deep for CAU. 4th down and 9 from the 41. Low snap along the ground, but he gets it away. And that football is going to be marked at the 21-yard line. 38 yards on the punt, and that's where the CAU Panthers offense will take over the football. 12:18 to play. Panthers down by 8, but they're looking to get on the board again. We'll take time out. You are watching SIAC football on ESPN+.
Curbside or in-store pickup at your Academy store.
Welcome back, everyone. It is indeed a burn burner here at Panther Stadium. Duane Walker along with Jamie Walker. Hope you are enjoying this one. Panthers have it 1st down and 10 at the 21. They are moving from left to right. We're in the 4th quarter with 12:18 to play. Brown receives the snap, rolling to the right, and it's going to be complete to Corey King Jr. And that's going to be a positive pickup. They're going to mark the football at the 27, so gain of 6 yards.
Again, just a simple pitch and catch. Shreve Brown rolls to his right, gets it to King. King gets out of bounds. Again, positive yards on the first play of the drive.
2nd down and 4 from the 27. There's the snap, right on, and that football is batted down for the 2nd time in the game. Number 55, that's DeWert, putting in work.
There goes that man once again. Again, when he can't get pressure, he knows how to get his hands up and disrupt a quarterback, even in the passing lanes. Just look at him, jump up there, and just mad at himself because he wants to score as well.
And those are the little things, man. Those are the type of plays that can get you to the next level on somebody's special teams.
Absolutely. That's a football play.
3rd down and 4 for CAU at the 27. Low snap. Brown gets it. Under pressure. Eludes one. And finally brought down by Land, number 41.
Again, a lot of pressure that time by the Maroon Tiger defense, being able to, again, fly around with the linebackers and the defensive line. And so now we'll see what Clark Atlanta decides to do. I'm sure they'll go, special teams and punt this ball this time, but you never know, It's counting to this point.
Hey, listen. You're 2-7. You're at home. It's not beyond the imagination that they could run a fake here.
It's true. You're going against a on-campus rival or on-area rival.
Lobo set to do the punting. Back deep is Pride. And that football is going to take a Morehouse bounce. And it is going to end up being a 28-yard punt. And that's where the Maroon Tigers from Morehouse will take over the football. And speaking of the Morehouse Maroon Tigers, this field has been very good to Morehouse. Their facility is under construction. I know head coach Rich Freeman is excited about that. And what can you say about the Morehouse Maroon Tigers even coming here to this stadium?
Well, I saw a couple of games that they played. The one game they played here, and it has been good to them. So much so that, maybe they need to. but yeah, they've been doing well.
Frank Bailey Jr. on that carry, and I know Coach Freeman was kind of disappointed that this year's seniors didn't have an opportunity to actually play on that turf because it was scheduled to be done earlier in this year, but unfortunately because of a lot of rain and conditions beyond anyone's control, those seniors weren't able to get an opportunity to play on that field. However, they are part of their legacy, which is Morehouse College football, that helped make this field come into fruition.
Most definitely. Most definitely. If you're a senior, you want to play at home, but, you know, stuff happens and you continue on.
Second down. And on that run, is that Bailey Jr., number 2, on the run? It was. We'll get a quick look at that replay. Taquan Williams had a shot at him, but Xavier Hopkins came in to finish him off.
Yeah, just picking his way through once again. As he's done all game and really all season, being able to get positive yards. But again, Clark Atlanta with an opportunity to stop Morehouse on a third down.
Some confusion on the Morehouse side as they try to get their personnel in the game. 3rd down and 3. Is this 2-down territory for Morehouse at the 42-yard line of CAU? We will see. Trip wide receivers to the top of the formation. Sims will hand it, and they're going to be stopped. No, sir. They are short of the line of gain, and as a result, it will be up a 4th down situation as Davis could not find any running room.
And I'm just curious as to why the Morehouse offense has really gotten conservative in this second half. I know you had a lead and you're trying to kill the clock to get the victory, but, you know, Clark Atlanta's been able to climb back in offensively. You got to open up this offense again and put some more points on the board.
And how about this for respect? On a 4th down and 2, they send out the punting unit. So Morehouse playing conservatively, if you will.
They're sending out the punting unit.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Estelarama waiting for the snap. He receives it. A high spiral. And it's caught there at the 20-yard line by Drakkar Jerry. So just a 22-yard punt, however, a strategic one, as he tries to pin CAU back in their own territory, but the Panthers have it 1st down and 10 from the 20. And they have 80 yards to go with 8 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. This has really been an incredible game, Jamie, when you think about it.
Yes, it has. You know, the youth of Clark Atlanta versus the experience of Morehouse, and that youth has definitely gotten them back in the ballgame.
Jeremiah Gibbs tack around the left tackle before being corralled by number 93, Elijah Campbell, one of those on the scene, the big defensive lineman.
And I just appreciate just their way of doing things, relentless to the football, regardless of whether it's a pass or run. You see them going down the line. As soon as they spot the football and where it is, they go after it.
From his nose tackle position. And give McKinney, number 45, credit for that tackle. 2nd down, 8 after the 2-yard running play. Brown has it in his grasp. Looking, throwing. He's got a man, and it's complete. Far side of the field to number 83. That's Ronnie West. Go West, young man.
Yes, go West, but
north south.
And I don't know if they'll show this other part of the camera, but West, you know, runs a great route that time where only, you know, Brown had a clear throwing lane. Gets that 1st down, and again, you can see Clark Atlanta being able to open up this offense and really be able to do some things.
29-yard pass reception, 1st and 10. 5 wide receiver set. Near side complete to Jerry. Jerry is immediately brought down. It can't be that guy again. It is. Number 55, Marquise Dewart. He's got to be Defensive Player of the Week.
Got
it.
Yes,
I mean, he's mopping up the floor.
Again, relentless to the football. Tried to set up the screen that time as we're looking at the replay. Saw it immediately. Thought he had a convoy initially, but the work actually got up out of his stance, sprinted to the area, and Jerry wasn't able to get but a few yards.
2nd down, 7. Shotgun, snap, under pressure. Brown throwing it down the field. Underthrown football, but there's a flag down. Corey King Jr. was being guarded on the play by Carlito Gonzalez, the junior out of Stone Mountain. And unfortunately, he never turned his head around to see the football, and I believe that's what caused the infraction.
That's exactly what happened when the receiver, you know, saw the ball was underthrown and tried to get back. You know, Gonzalez was right there in his hip pocket initially, but the underthrown ball caused the receiver to come back and and Gonzalez was way out of position to be able to defend it.
And I want to check that I was way out of line because that was number 22, Cameron Selders, on that defensive effort. So pardon me. All right, as a result of the pass interference play, they're going to move the football up, or down, I should say, to the 32-yard line of Morehouse, where the CAU Panthers have it first down and 10. Jeremiah Gibbs, number 26, he's the running back, standing off to the left of Sharif Brown, who's waiting for the snap. He gets it. He's under pressure. DeWert had him. Now he just launches the football up in the air. It's going to be a jump ball! Incomplete! Intended for that guy, number 15, Kendall Wimberly, who already has a couple of touchdown catches today.
And that's the only reason he throws the football to him.
The right decision to
Yes,
make.
yes.
One-on-one, and you're going after one. But listen, I got to tell you something. The defender, number 21, that's Armani Maddox, was equal to the task. And Coach Freeman told us this Armani is a very special guy.
Yeah, Armani Maddox is a gamer.
Second down and 10. That one just out of the reach of Jakar Jerry, the intended receiver. A couple of number 14s on the action there. Dadrian Lyman also on the scene. He was the defender on the play.
And you want some points in the passing game. Right now, you're being successful. We'll see what goes on.
Oh, another defensive penalty. And I know, listen, Jamie, remember, along the broadcast, we have talked about the penalties that have surmounted for Morehouse. And now we've got a couple more penalties, an interference call, and now a penalty there. And now it gives CAU a second down and 5. Brown is going to be tackled. Number 15, Daniel Norman, has 7 tackles coming to the game, which leads his squad. Make it number 9. He's got 2 today.
Time to blitz well. That's on Sharif Brown, to be perfectly honest with you. You have to see that man on the line of scrimmage, change up the play, go to your hot reads, but never saw him coming until it was too late. And again, losing a lot of yards that time.
Lost 10 yards on the play. And it's third down and 15. Kind of makes you want to wander your eyes. Oh, there's another penalty against the defense. Free play for CAU. It's caught by Wimberly. Wimberly 20, 15, 10, 5, 4, 3, 2-yard line.
Absolutely loved the effort from Wimberly that time. Taking defenders with him. Again, he had the free play, so got into the middle of the field and just carried defenders at that point. It was just purely effort and his own effort that time to get into the end zone. They want this game.
44-yard connection. Brown to Wimberly. And that was a free play because of a penalty. First down and goal for CAU. And there's another infraction, this time by the offense. And you cannot shoot yourself in the foot in this situation. And head coach Tim Bowens is not happy.
No, not happy at all. Again, when you're seeing just the slight movement from the offensive lineman, you know, you have DeWert, who, again, is ready to move at any point. Hey, he's going to point it out.
Elijah Burks just a little bit anxious. You got to think they're running the football on his side. Nonetheless, it brings up a first down and goal, still from the 7-yard line. Panthers looking to score yet again in the second half. In motion comes Jakar Jerry. Far side of the formation. The option to the right. Brown on the keeper. Struggling. Drifting. Still the ball being moved. And they're going to place the football at the 2-yard line.
Don't tell me that these teams don't win. You said they have nothing to play for. They absolutely have everything to play for.
And Brown ran for 5 yards on that play. And as a result, the football is now on the 2-yard line. And how about the hustle? You know, look who went and grabbed that football. Number Isaiah Goolsby went and grabbed the football for the official so that they could mark it. And you and I talked to Isaiah Goolsby, who told us what his goals were, and we'll get to that here in just a second. Second down and goal. There's a pass over the middle looking for Wimberly on the slant. It's incomplete, and it brings up a third down. Armani Maddox, number 21, has a lot to say for the Maroon Tigers.
Freshman Armani Maddox, who has played big time really all season, is taking pick sixes back. In perfect position that time for Wimberly to not be able to catch that ball. Wimberly has some strong hands, and Maddox just got in there and ripped the ball out.
Play clock winding down to 15 seconds on this third and goal situation. Trip receivers to the bottom of the formation. Gibbs off to the right. They will option right. Brown tries to keep the football, throws the football, and it is ruled incomplete. Oh, Corey King Jr. had it, bobbled it, dropped it. What about the presence of mind of Brown to actually throw that ball before going down?
Just wise beyond his years and nearly completed this play.
Wow. And as we get a reverse look at it, and there's a flag down also, watch here is Brown going down, throws the football, and there you see it hit the turf. That is unfortunate. There's 3 minutes and 57 seconds to play, but Sean Purdy's going to tell us what the penalty is. I believe they're going to say that it was a was it a timeout that was called by Morehouse? Is that what he indicated?
No, I actually think it was unsportsmanlike conduct on Morehouse.
Well, if that's the case, it's a first down. First down and goal for CAU at the 1 yard line.
Again, being the most penalized team in the SIAC right now, it could nip you in the butt. We'll see what happens.
We'll re-rack. It's first down and goal for the CAU Panthers, who have scored the last 20 points of the contest. First and goal. Gibbs comes to the right side of Brown. He'll receive the snap as Brown surging for the end zone, stretching out. It's a touchdown! Touchdown, Sharif Brown!
Sharif Brown, just total effort to get into the end zone. You saw that he wanted it, carried a couple of defenders with him, was denied initially, kept those legs going, and again, just wanting it more. Because right now, you're at this point in the contest where you just simply want to win.
Sharif Brown scoring his 6th touchdown of the season, his 2nd in the game via the rush, and the Panthers, they trail by 2 with 3 minutes and 51 seconds to play in the fourth quarter.
I love the effort out of the quarterback right now. Again, didn't start, but you could tell he would get in this ball game. You could just kind of feel the aura as we walked the field earlier. You know, this kid is supremely confident, so you knew he would have his time to shine.
And I know, Jamie, you just mentioned aura. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the recent passing of WSB anchor Jovita Moore. I just wanted to take the time to recognize her untimely passing here recently. And all the sports teams in Atlanta paid homage to her. I know the Atlanta Falcons, they had her up on the big screen. The Braves, everyone is really sorry of her passing. And I can remember Hunter Blackman of Atlanta hosting a football game, and she was doing some promotions for the radio station, for the television station, and she came and actually told me, Jovita Moore told me that I was one of her favorites.
Wow.
And I can't tell you, you know what it did to my heart. So just a beautiful person. How about you, Jamie? Any experiences with Jovita?
Absolutely. Back at the old radio station I worked for, came in and visited and just was, just lit up the room. Just lit up the room. Pleasant, willing to give advice. So I'm so sorry she's no longer with us.
All right, back to the action. First down and goal. Correction, 2-point conversion, and that is incomplete. Don't know what they had set up there, but clearly maybe got a little too cute on that, Jamie, as opposed, well, he did have Ronnie West out there, and I'm trying to figure out what Jakar Jerry was pointing to at the ground. Maybe he anticipated I don't know what that. I can't make out what that was.
Not exactly sure what that was either, but you know, they don't convert the 2-point conversion. So now, you know, being down 2, they have to play some, you know, supreme defense in order to get back in it.
Jamie, do you go with the onside kick here with 3 minutes and 51 seconds to play? I see Morehouse, they have their hands team available.
This is a tough one because I think with 3:51 left,
I play it straight up because Saldana can make a long field goal. He can make a 50-yarder. In fact, in the very first game of the season, CAU was victorious, and it was as a result of a big kick by Saldana.
Yes, against Livingstone. I remember in
game-winning kick.
Yes.
All right, they set it up. It's going to be an onside kick, and it's going to be fielded. However, they throw the flag, and when they throw it that quickly, normally it's offsides on the kicking team. And as a result, Morehouse will take over the football.
Yeah, you're not forcing it. You can see you want to, when you do an onside kick of any sort, you want that first 2 roll and that third roll to bounce up. But if you're offsides, it really just negates everything you're trying to do.
Corey Fleming, the tight end, number 44, came up with that onside kick. And now for Morehouse, they will have the football. They're going to place it at CAU's 43-yard line. So now time is of the essence, and we'll see if Morehouse, if they rush the football, will they remain in bounds to try to work the clock. First down and 10 from the 43. They hand it. It's Bailey Jr., and he's going to be stuffed. And if I'm CAU, I want to get him down and get up because the clock, as I mentioned before, is of the essence. Taquan Williams, number 27, sticking his nose in there.
He does stick his nose in there, and again, you see this running game wanting to just continue to churn the clock. The clock is your friend right now, and you have the lead.
Timothy Jones also coming in from his safety position to get in on that tackle. No gain, second down and 10. 3 minutes, 16 seconds to play in regulation. Peterson just off to the left of Mike Sims, waiting for the snap. 1 second on the play clock, they just get it off. It's Davis on the carry, and Davis is going to be stopped by a host of CAU Panthers. A lot of players in the mix there.
Most definitely. CAU relentless to the football as well, trying to stop this run and really trying to do the balancing act of stopping them, but along with looking at the clock to ensure that they have enough time to get some more points.
Xavier Hopkins, number 46, in on that tackle for CAU. And now the CAU Panthers are going to call a timeout with 2 minutes and 31 seconds to play in regulation. All right, big third down situation, 3rd down and 9. Twin receivers to the top and bottom. Football at the 42-yard line. Sims has it. He'll throw the screen. Looks like they're trying to set up a double pass. Nothing doing. The Panthers come up with the stop. 52, Darius Barron in on the tackle. And that's going to be a loss of yardage on the play.
Yeah, you can see them setting up the screen. Has a convoy in front, but never could get past the first defender. And Clark Atlanta will host the Panthers right there, Johnny on the spot.
Andre Felder, number 93, one of the main cogs in the wheel over there for CAU. And it is 4th down and a long, long way. The Maroon Tigers need to get to CAU's 33-yard line, and the football is now on their own 48. Wow. While we have a moment, the SIAC proudly welcomes Allen University and Edward Waters University as the newest members of our league. These two teams will battle it out at the end of the season, while the SIAC championship game between East and West, who will be serving in this year's host. And you can catch both of those games on Saturday, November 13th, live on ESPN Plus and ESPN3, respectively. Be sure to check your ESPN cable provider listings for start times. We already know, Jamie, that representing the East will be the Albany State Golden Rams. And if Miles College survives this afternoon, they will represent the West. And for the third consecutive season of football, those two representatives would meet in the final. Jacquard Jerry will down the football at the 14-yard line. And as a result, that is a 38-yard punt by Estelorama, but there is a flag down, so we will wait and see what the call is from Sean Purdy. Well, Jamie, I know you mentioned that the last time these two teams played in 2019, it came down to the last couple of possessions in the game, and it looks like a repeat performance this go-round as well.
It is. You can throw out those records.
Sean Purdy now waiting. And we'll wait as well. Trying to see which way they're marching the football. Holding. Legal block in the back against the offense. Or the receiving team, excuse me. So, if they are going to do it, Jamie Walker, it is going to take a yeoman's effort. The football is at the 8. They'll have to go 92 yards to score a touchdown.
Yes, they will. What they've been able to do offensively, hey, don't think it can't happen.
First down and 10 from the 8. The pass. There's that guy in and out of his hands, though, to Wemberly, number 15. He already has a couple of touchdown receptions this afternoon. And I like that matchup. You're going to have Armani Maddox, I would presume, number 21, nearby.
Most definitely. One of their better corners, being able to defend the outside.
I'm going to Wemberly. I mean, straight up. I'm looking for that number 15. I'm going to the well again.
Well, he plays the hybrid position, and I tell you what, based on how they're looking at it.
Incomplete, far side of the field. You're going to say based on what?
Just based on how they're playing them. Wembley may be the actual the person they need to go to. Daniel Norman's actually looking and peeking inside, but actually playing coverage on Wembley as he's releasing the line. So he has a free release. Mm-hmm. So with those strong hands, I would go to him.
Look at the middle of the field. It's wide open. I would definitely target him.
Looks like a cover 2 shell.
Third down and 10. Brown rolls to his right, and he gets smacked. He fumbles the football, and it goes into the end zone. And falling on the football is Elijah Campbell, number 93. And it is a Morehouse Maroon Tiger touchdown.
And again, when you're looking at the protection here, it just breaks down right at the end. Brown tried to get what he could, but again, we've been talking about the relentless pressure that this Maroon Tiger offensive or defensive line is pursued. You can see the hit by that man, Marquise DeWert, once again.
Defensive player of the week in the SI.
Absolutely. Doesn't pick up the football cleanly. And Elijah Campbell hustling to the ball, jumps on it for the Maroon Tiger for touchdown.
And there's a flag down on the field. It will not affect the touchdown. And we can hear the Morehouse College Maroon Tiger fans saying, hey, goodbye. But CAU, they don't have to go anywhere. They're at home.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
They're here.
they are at home. And see what this flag is all about.
Sean Purdy will let us know. Maybe he's waiting for the fans. That penalty is going to be assessed against the CAU Panthers. Obviously, emotions running high. But, Jamie, this is a very, very important extra point attempt. Why? Because it is an 8-point game. It's 34-26. And it will recall that there have been some miscues from the snappers on both teams this afternoon.
It has.
So there is no guarantee that Estelorama is going to make this extra point attempt. So this is, in fact, a huge special teams sequence right here.
Very large. And again, it wouldn't even be 8 if it wasn't for a missed extra point by Clark Atlanta earlier.
Wilson is in the middle trying to time this jump. Huge extra point attempt. There's a snap. It's low. Estelorama gets it up in the air, and the kick is good. Whoa. Delante Tolliver was the holder, and he got it through the uprights. And with 1 minute and 58 seconds to play, our score, Morehouse 35, Clark Atlanta 26. All right, so Estelorama will kick the football. And don't forget about the penalty. And they're going to kick the football at the 20-yard line. So, Jamie, the Panthers are going to have field position.
You got 1:59 left in this contest. If you can get a big play, if you can get a spark here, this game is not over.
West and Tate are back. West at the 30. And West is going to have it at the 18. He should have fair caught that football. 20. Definitely should have fair caught that football. And it's going to be down at the 24-yard line. That's where he goes down. This is why he should have just fair caught it right here, because if you fair catch it right there at the 13, no time runs off the clock. And on top of that, you get the ball at the 25-yard line instead of running the clock up.
Exactly. You're already retreating. You had to go back to catch it, which means you're running in the other direction, giving time for the special teams in Morehouse to be able to catch up and make that tackle. So now you kind of put yourself, already behind the 8 ball.
10 yards on the return. Let's see if CAU can respond and respond quickly with 1:52 to play. Brown has it. Looks near side. Complete to Kinsey. Kinsey, 25, 30. They need to get on the ball up to the 31-yard line. 7-yard strike. Second down, 3. And actually, they're going to credit him with an 8-yard pass. Call it 2nd and 2.
Right now, if you're Morehouse, you're just trying to keep everything in front of you and let that clock continue to run.
Not the old prevent defense.
Oh,
Please,
yeah.
Jamie. Oh, Jamie.
But in the case of, a certain professional team, it prevents you from winning.
Brown testing Maddox. Incomplete, looking for West. And listen, Armani West, the freshman, is anticipating that smoke. He is jabber-jawing with the coaches along the sideline.
Yeah, Armani Maddox, again, it has the brashness of a senior in a freshman body. He's taking, balls back to the house from an interception. So, hey, he doesn't mind being on that island. And, he's wearing the right number for that.
He definitely is. 3rd down and 2. Brown with it. Far side. Jerry complete, but he's not going to have enough for the first down. Very little, if any, gain.
Phenomenal tackle that time again from Daniel Norman. You can see again, them being able to get guys on the ground is, has paid dividends for them really all game.
Here's the ball game for all intents and purposes. 4th down for the CAU Panthers. 4th down at the 34-yard line. Waiting for the snap in the shotgun is Brown. He has it. 4th down play. He's got to get rid of it. He does. Had a man but could not thread the needle. That pass intended for Corey King Jr., and it's going to fall by the wayside. And unless something strange happens, that is going to be the ball game.
Yes, it is. You can just see Brown trying to get it to Wembley that time, but, was under just serious pressure. And it's like Morehouse may hold on for this victory.
You don't see that victory formation out there?
Didn't you just tell me?
Oh, yeah,
I
did say
But
that.
I agree with you.
You agree with me?
Yes,
okay. It's all it's going to take is one snap here. Sims waiting. He goes down to a knee. He's still in play. You can do the math. You see how much time is left on the score clock. And as CAU called timeout, they have not, as the game clock continues to run. And for the Morehouse Maroon Tigers, they are going to improve to 4-6. And the CAU Panthers, they are going to fall to 2-8.
And in the battle of the AUC, Morehouse holds on. But I tell you, this is a phenomenal football game.
No question about it. And that's the ball game with Morehouse defeating Clark Atlanta 35-26. You've been watching Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference football on ESPN Plus, presented by UBS. So for Jamie Walker, Calvin Morgan, our spotter, our entire production crew, I'm Duane Walker saying so long from Atlanta, Georgia, with the final score. The Morehouse Maroon Tigers 35 and the Clark Atlanta Panthers 26. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN Plus.